Okay. So
Oh,
I'll
that's
post
for
it.
the fun. What's this? What's that? No, I've got that. It's all happening.
I'll put you down here.
Bonjour, mon ami, may we au revoir, one and all. Peace and love, blessed be, and may the light be with you.
Evening, everyone. What Andy said.
Per usual. Starts with me to go on.
It's great. It's like predictive.
Andy
like
said
predictive
this.
Andy.
Said this. Send that. Here we go. Let's see how we crack on with that.
Reply. We've all got our word cards in front of us.
Does he wear glasses?
Yeah, but they don't help. Because they're not mine.
Excuse me on the cheap seats. I'm live on Tube Face and we're discussing serious
quietly
issues.
in the background, please.
Thank you. Sorry about this one and all.
Yes. Well, I've posted it. It's all good, boys. All good. Very happy. We're in high spirits today. I like that. I like to hear this. Good vibrations.
Heart vibration, mate. Constant harmonic resonance we endeavour to try and behold. And sometimes we have fluctuation, ups and downs, don't we, as we all do. We just try and keep the balance, keep it in the middle of the road, as they say in Buddhism. Keep it on the white lines, I say, on the tarmac.
Yeah.
Don't aim too high, you won't fall too far.
Right, just cleaning my eyes.
Okay, mate. Crossing your T's.
Turn your camera off, please.
Yeah. No, that one's all right.
Although you are in private, you're displaying in public.
Whoa. There you are. Everybody just came into sharp focus.
Hey, back in Rome, lad. Ooh, me grapes.
Am I on the wrong channel?
Yeah, well.
Oh, me grapes.
Am I?
It might seem like it tonight.
we don't say am I, we say I am. Let's get it right here. Anyway, thanks for coming in. I'll catch you all again.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks everybody for watching. That's that.
This is the Little Girl Show, brought to you by Indiglo and the Little Girls.
I did say I'd sent Dave a message yesterday because we did that broadcast last night, and I said to him we could have called it Chav and Dave.
Absolutely.
You did.
Yeah. Absolutely.
He ignored me though. You know what he's like.
I know, mate. At the end of the day, when you're swapping Kev to Dave, it's quite difficult to get used to.
I have it bad enough with Andy and Kev. It's Kev, Andy, Kev, Matt. Well, there's loads in the mix here. It's hard to keep it separate. Oh,
just man is man. Anyway, forward going, positively stepping. Right. Bonjour, one and all. How are we?
We have 32 watching in the room house what community. So you want to say hello to them brothers, and I'll
peace
get set up in the kitchen to give
you. Evening,
thank
all.
You.
Peace and love to you. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. We're humbled. Well, I'm humbled. I can't speak for next man, but I'm humbled. To have,
Andy's humbled.
So you're all so naughty. You're not pulling me in tonight. You've done it a minute ago before we went live, and it's what got me in this giggly mood. I'm in, you buggers. Pack it in. But it's a nice thing. It's a great thing. We have to remain positive, and we have to remain of a high resonance, and let's not mock it. It is what it is.
It's beautiful all good.
Thing. Peace and love, everybody. Peace and love.
It goes where it goes.
Nobody knows.
It goes where your energy flows, where you it's where you direct it. That's where it goes, mate. It's as simple as that. Where the mind goes, the energy flows.
I'm looking for my tripod. Secret of all broadcasters broadcasts the tripod.
What? I'm leaning mine up a tray of Good Hope.
Yeah, I've got
you see, that's where you're going wrong.
a tub of salt and a cardboard box.
See, this is it.
No,
Eat it.
this very position that you speak to me now is mainly where I've sat and educated myself from this very point, and it's the absolute perfect resonant position for me. It's I'm sitting here giving out in the very same places where I've put it all in, so it's all yin and yang for me.
I'm right.
You know, it's ace. It is what it is.
The flow.
It's actually a tyre. I lean mine. I don't know if you can see my camera. Look, it's a tyre, a little ashtray tyre, and I just lean it on there, looking on the arm of my chair there. Very nice. It just grips. It's got a little bit of grip on there. Very nice.
Yeah, I'm too tight to buy a camera stand.
I'm just plain and simple, man. I'm just very easy, you know, simple life. So I don't need all these fancy gadgets that our producer, editor, cameraman's got there.
The crew, the film crew.
Should be over holding with them big broomsticks with a big furry thing on the end, with a dog having a go at it.
Right. Good evening, channel subscribers and the realm brothers and sisters. I'm taking control. I'm leading the conversation now. We're going to give them some good news, aren't we, brothers? You know, frivolity aside, you know, we've got.
Never mind him trying to lead the way, mate. If when you're good and ready, Kev, it's your news, brother, and we can see the happiness within your soul, son. So when you're good and ready, you roll the show out, mate, and me and Dave are right along your shoulder, mate, to assist you in any way we can.
Before he does,
Gonna be all on my own.
Before you do,
right, come on in, Dave.
Sorry, Dave, Rob.
I've been helping a YouTube subscriber. We've mentioned them before for some months, and I've been trying to get the I don't know, the NHS and the service provider to give a home visit, because the YouTube subscriber that we're helping and has brought their claim to us hasn't got a GP. Because they haven't got a GP, they currently have got a health-based work capability assessment, you know, impending, and this has happened quite a few times, brothers, as well, you know. And I've been challenging the DWP and the NHS with regards to their policy and the fact that they require this gentleman to go out to an office externally and present as an external customer, patient and service user, and go for a work capability assessment at the hands of a non-licensed or whatever, not even a doctor, somebody that Kev will explain in a minute. Yeah, and we can't get there because this YouTube user is basically crippled in a bed. So we can't get there. They say we'll stop the money, but we say you can't stop the money because it's not his fault he can't get there, and there's mitigating circumstances of which you know about. So a decision maker has a look at it and says, okay, on this occasion, you know, we noted that, so we'll pay your money and come to the next interview. And we say the same reasons as the first one that you've just accepted will be why he won't be attending the second interview. And I've rang up maybe 60 times over 3 months, and I've interfaced a lot of hours and a lot of time, and I've been going around in circles. You kind of get where we're going here. I'm sorry to repeat for you two, but just so Kevin's next bit is fully in the frame. I'm quite a knowledgeable guy. I'm not the most cleverest or the expert in anything, but I know what I'm doing. And I thought I did, and I was getting led around a system of bureaucracy and red tape. There was template letters being sent out, brothers, sisters, to this gentleman, but I was ringing up and speaking to humans, and they were making one note, but what was happening in the mail was something different. And then we kept having to intervene with Chadder, DWP, NHS, and others and other agents. And you think you get somewhere, but then you don't. And they seem to not all talk to each other. And several months down the line, I was frustrated. This YouTube user was frustrated. The decision maker just seemed to forget who he was every time he made a decision, and things went back to square one. And then Kevin came along, and he said, well, I've got a different way of dealing with these interlopers and corporate entities. And I am aware, as you are, Andy, that the DWP is something that most of man thinks is part of the government, but it isn't. It's a corporate private entity, if I'm not mistaken. So that needs laying out. Big news flash for some of us that we assumed foolishly that this was a government department, and newsflash, it's not a government department. It's on various places listed, and we can prove that. So in a nutshell, that's my story in the 4 months and 60 odd calls and loop-de-loop circles with government agents, call handlers, and different departments, different corporate entities to get nowhere. And then Kevin, if you please, I think I've set you up good enough there to take over and explain I'm going to go on mute and let you go on, brother.
No worries.
Thank you.
Can I just say that through some parts of David's introduction there, that you had a rather beautiful, remarkable resemblance, Kev, of that smug grin that Jeremy Clarkson does. You know, when he's achieved a chance. Amazing.
Red Dwarf. I'm thinking Red Dwarf. Crichton. Smug mode activated.
Brilliant, mate. I tell you. Full respect and love to you, brother. I just wanted to say that, mate. You go, mate.
That's all good. That's all good. Right. So if I can, if anybody can indulge me for a minute, I'll explain the two areas that we travelled to get to where we are. So I was in this boat, obviously learnt about the fact that DWP are private company, as are all their agents, etc. So I went down the road of, who are you? We don't have a contract, blah, blah, blah. Just getting into correspondence with them, really. And they wrote back, usual nonsense. We're employed by the DWP to carry out assessments here in the UK, etc., etc. So I've started that road. Didn't get the responses I wanted, but ultimately what they did was they sanctioned me by stating they'd sent me out a certain form, which is called a BF223. Well, it was never sent. We proved that in the end. But anyway, on the strength of me not filling the form out, they sanctioned me. So we were forced to tribunal, which wasn't a problem. We got through all that. It was awarded to us. That's another story in itself, was quite funny. So on our journey, then it came round to a friend of ours, Graham, who was in the same boat, but this time we'd cognised the conditional acceptance process. So that's the road we went down with Graham. We conditionally accepted. It was Maximus we were dealing with. So we conditionally accepted on the grounds that they answered certain questions, which, for instance, was I've gone blank.
Just keep it general, mate. Are you licensed here in England?
Yeah, are you licensed here in England? Can I have all the BMA registrations of your
and so on and so forth?
Yeah. So we went down that road, and then there was so we sent the letter in saying, yeah, we'll come if you answer these questions. They didn't answer the questions, so you get sent the BF223, which we've already got a response for. So you just, when the BF223 turns up, you just sort the other letter, you send it. And that was it with Graham. No sanctions, no stoppages. The bonus was he got moved up into the support group. When they say support group, I'll tell you what the support group entails is a phone call, if you're lucky, once every 2 years to see how you are. That's it. That's what they do. But with Graham, no sanctions. We approached it that way. I'll get on to the status, standing and capacity part in a sec. So
that's where we're at, mate.
Basically, yeah, that's where it came from. So that's the way round it was. So mine was dragged out over 6 months. They failed to produce any of the required evidence and stuff, which made me, I had to adjourn a hearing. But anyway, that was hilarious. The day of the actual tribunal, we were going to expose the fraud to the tribunal on page 3, and at the end of page 3 of the evidence, and on page 2. Basically the administrator stopped everything and went, okay, Mr. Phillips, that's quite enough. We're awarding it to you. So they stopped us, which I was expecting, to be honest. They stopped us revealing the fraud because of the liabilities it places on them.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so they didn't want to know. They ran a mile.
And the misfeasance and the torts that come with it.
Yeah, absolutely. So they knew. I think they knew when I was dropping all the paperwork and the Black's Law Dictionary on the desk.
You betcha they know.
That was a picture. But yeah, so basically by the time it came out to Graham, we'd cognised the conditional acceptance and we utilised that. All the same information that I asked is exactly the same information that we use with Graham.
Can I just say that I individually do not advocate Black's Law Dictionary. That's all. No,
I understand. Absolutely. The only reason we used it at the tribunal was because at that point we were inside the rules. We were inside Blacks, if you like.
I'm not saying that you can't or not to. I'm just saying that I don't. That's all.
No, I am. Yeah, and I totally, I'm in agreement with that. From what I've learned since,
what I've showed you since, now you know why.
Absolutely. So, that was why that was there. Now I wouldn't go near it really, particularly. I don't need to use it. It's not required
for the man, is it, brother?
No, absolutely not. But obviously with Graham's and mine, we were just signing off. I mean, we were signing off, all rights retained, that sort of thing, without the UK, blah, 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 blah. But when we discovered Andy and Dave, SPLs, whatever you want to say, then we'd been listening for a while, but because we were on our own journey, we didn't fully engage at that time. But once we got our nonsense out the way and sorted out, we obviously started really paying attention to what was going on with Sovs. What the guys were saying, status, standing and capacity. So now we sign off as interested third party, agent in office, if you like, beneficiary and settlor for the trust name. Now that seems to have changed the game immensely, absolutely immensely. So much so that our YouTube friend David was just talking about, we sent his letter out and it's been done in one letter. They never even bothered sending a BF223. And I do believe he was the first one that we used this sign off for, or, the status, standard and capacity. And it's just changed the game.
When man fully cognises whom he is, there is no corporation that can undermine that level of authority.
Exactly.
From that author, which is authorised through the power of the pen. They cannot override that. It's as simple as that. Yeah.
And another thing that was immensely powerful, which Andy actually came to me about, is lowercase. And I mean all lowercase. So the letters...
It's the hand of man. It's layman. It's idiot. It's if you are brought to the jurisprudence or their courts in that realm, then you are to be seen as an idiot. We're not speaking legalese languages. So if you keep it lowercase, you babble short, sweet, to the point, one word, one meaning, one sentence, one meaning, not to be assumed and presumed upon, and you've taken my belief and concept and you've put it into your own words, which you have taken from us beautifully, and put it onto paper. And whammo, mate, what a document turned out to be. You drafted it, you sent it across to me. David was out the country. I've made a couple of changes. and give it the third approval. It's quite ironic that we've done it on the third approval.
Yes.
And
yes.
And on the third approval, mate, you only had to send it the once. So
Absolutely.
that shows the power and the might of the verbatim, which is within the correct narrative and the context within it. So you can't rebut it, mate.
No. And I say the power of it. I say with the one guy at the moment, I know we've got another couple of people in the middle of the process, but they one of them he sent his stuff in quite late, the first letter, so it probably overlapped. So I know he got a BF223, but that's gone in now, so he's got the response in. So we just wait to see what comes back with that. But the lowercase, the status, standard, and capacity has just added so much clout. It's unreal. It really is astounding at what that's done.
Cannot be denied. That written word of man cannot be denied. It's there, evidential, factual to see. You know, the stationary person cannot produce a handwritten document. Only man can do that, and they cannot deny that fact. It's evidential facts there in your face.
Well, exactly what's happened. Go on, Dave.
What we've done there, Kev, is that the translation from, as we met Richard Ansar and saw some of the work he'd done with the American to the English, it wasn't a direct correlation to him, but with regards to how man does get trust technology such as Christian Waters and what we was looking at, and the translation coming over to England. Fortunately, the trust is universal, and we've had to look at this capitalization. It come from a guy, for me, Romilly Stewart, glossa, dogma, Latin, ancient, corruption of a body of text within a text, the four corner rule, all these kind of corruptions in the legal A4 military graded paper that is a notice that we're served with the accounts of Rome annexed to us. And this capitalization, it was mentioned in quite a few of the videos, the Chicago Styles manual, and there would be like screenshots or a bit of the written text where it would say the American School for Sign Language stipulate that this capitalization blah blah blah, and it went into great detail about the characterizations and the styles and the grammar and all of. It's something that I then went to look at the Oxford and the Oxford Concise and Black's Law dictionaries, and what all the other, like you've mentioned, we don't use them as man, but the society uses them, and they've got codes and words and meanings to them in there. And I found that we found that there's an Oxford Styles manual that would be governable to England and Anglo for these, legal, not so much man lawful, but for the legal understanding and definitions and apparatus and the instruments. Yeah, it's a capitalization. All companies' names are in what? Capital, aren't they? A gravestone name is in capital. The capital, cap it all, is the I. You have a letter I, which is a capital I, and it's the decapitation of man when you capitalize the I. And we've got all these it's a world of totally amazing facts, and it does all balance up. I'm not saying it's right, but what we're saying and what we've found is we can stand there and talk to you for hours about why and how, and it's truly incredible, the structure of it all. And it's not just fallacy. This is a technology of which now we've come to use in such a degree where you've picked it up and you've applied it in an application where you've thought about it and you know what you're doing. You've got the right application, the right intent, and you've had a crack at something, and you've engineered democracy in action. You've made a remedy. This is what we talk about, making your own remedy. We don't need Andy, you don't need Dave, you didn't need a video. And you sent that off, and you've noticed a marked improvement in response time and the end result. So you're happy about that. We're happy to hear about it. And man needs to know what we're all doing to catch up, yes? Kudos.
Well,
Kudos.
I know for a fact that the lowercase works, because when I noticed the council here 2 years ago, and I took my private document from an oath GP, which was in my private capacity, and I took that as identification for I, the man. And when I give them that notice that was in my own handwriting, all just lowercase scribbled down on a piece of paper, they had to take it for the value that I give it to them.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. I'd performed, and they must give me just and fair exchange for my performance. I'm there in persona. I'm first in line, as equity states. I'm first in time, and equity acts in persona. And so we've managed to get that verbatim down now onto that paperwork in the right context, in the right narrative, mate. And it's just heavyweight. It's wang out. Let's have it. And it can save many thousands of poor souls across our nation, that they say, or I say that across the plain. But it's a great thing that you've done, Kev. It's amazing that we've managed to pull together the three kings that are here at the moment, and we've put it together for a blessed soul, and it's transpired that it's almost a template. We can't roll it out as a template, but
no,
the body of verbiage that we've come to recognise and stand under is that of sledgehammer weight that they cannot really put. It's as simple as that, and
it's a process. Refining a process
through the word
process, Andy. Yeah, there's a policy. We interface with policy. There's a policy there, and there's governance, and what we do is help ones choose the way through the policies and the governance of it, isn't it?
With their process before we invoke the real rule of man.
Yeah, Kev, it's amazing.
You still have to engage to a point, but as I say, this what we've learned with Trust Tech and what we've utilised and what you guys, your input has just changed it. As I say, to have one person now send one letter.
I've dispelled my council claims. I've dispelled all my council claims and all the bailiffs and everything like that with my small case notices and my birth certificate in my other hand, months before I'd met Richard Ansar, months before I knew of Trust Technology, before I knew any of that, because my verbiage came from my King James, where I'd learned who I was and where's what, and against the corporation, against the canal and over the border. All my knowledge came from that book, and that's why I speak differently to others that are on the round, because it's all from there.
I understand. I know where you're coming from. I can't wait for you to set up with your little YouTube channel. That's going to be fascinating for lots of people. As I say, Andy, we all listen to you. A lot of us all look up to you. Got a lot of respect for you, and the way you deal with stuff is just amazing. And your learning process has been, your journey has been incredible. To what you've discovered. Might be slightly different to how we're playing the game at the moment, but we're sort of forced when you're dealing with these corporations to have a foot in each camp. And you can do that.
Absolutely, you can. It's whatever you're comfortable with. It's what you understand. It's what you can stand on and be strong with, and know what you say and say what you know. If you're out of your comfort zone, if you're not comfortable, you've got dis-ease in that what you're saying and doing, then you shouldn't be saying nor doing it.
Absolutely,
but this is what we've all been put in a situation, brothers, where we don't know the true value of ourselves. We thought we was the debtor only, but we actually are the creditor and the debtor. We are the principal and the surety. Whenever there's a trust, there's a principal, and the principals are a part of a certain function of the trust. And we were, the straw man, is the principal. We can be classed as an agent. We didn't know any of this, and so the ignorance of that, and how much the struggle and the corporation has had a stronghold on this setup for all these years. It's wrong, so we can be forgiven for making a few mistakes and for being a little bit vexatious and angry at the beginning of it all. And you're right, it isn't Richard or any prolific. What we've done is that let me just backtrack to that, is when we found Kenneth as king and Richard and others, all we did is we knew that we'd been down every rabbit hole, and we knew we'd been down and looked at every technique and method and law within all parameters, and so we were still coming up dead ends, right? And we was like, right, it's time to give up now, because obviously whatever's done this to us is that deep and messed up. We will never in our lifetime confidently be able to get out of it. And lo and behold, at that point we was bestowed upon Kenneth as king by Serge Singh, and Singh brought the king, and it was that time, a year or so ago, we found the trust technology, which then led us to somebody who was teaching it, which happened to be Richard, that was in the realms and contactable, who would speak to you. And all we did is had something confirmed. We went, hang on a minute then. So this common law business and these codes here, and this public and this private and this trust, yeah, and this language and this joinder, you're telling us that it's not all a contract and it's not public, it's sometimes private and it's a trust and it's an agreement. Okay, and you've done it, all right, yeah, and you've done all right, yeah, and we've looked and we're like, okay, so now we went off with that, because trust technology isn't Richard's or Steve's or Santos's or Andy's or Dave's, it's man's, and it's given. It's the only true technology, I mean, the true currency that man has. Me and Andy had a deep chat today, of which, Andy, I won't mention, don't worry, but it was a good chat, and we encompassed in there that the trust is the only currency we have left, and it's the only true one that man needs to know about to some extent. And it isn't easy and clean, but it's a lot cleaner and it's a lot better than it has been, and it's thanks to you two guys especially, and the work of the admins over the last 3 years. And our output now is at another level, actually at another level. Yeah,
divine consciousness, mate, that's where we're at. That's why, okay, mate. Brother Barney is leaving my dwelling. So you can see.
Bye.
Nah, then.
See you later. I will be listening.
He's back to his lorry for the night and tucking himself up in his bunker.
Oh, it's Mark. Hello, Mark, mate. How are you?
All right, but you?
Yeah, I'm not bad, thanks, mate. Not bad. It's all good. I haven't seen you for a while, obviously, since July.
Yeah,
I've been following you about.
I pop up all over the place, me.
Barney B.
I expect nothing less.
All right, later.
See you, Mark.
Yeah, take it easy, Mark. Cheers, brother.
All right. Yeah, just leaving. Sorry about that. Thank you.
That's all right.
So, and again, I've met Brother Barnett through SPLs, and just to find out he lives just 3 miles down the road. We travelled 25 miles to a seminar to find out we live 3 miles apart.
Yeah, brilliant.
That sounds about right, doesn't it?
So yeah, Fagan's law, Sod's law, whatever you wish to call it. But here we are, still moving forward positively, all learning, all finding out new things and stuff. And I'm grateful to myself that I've picked up that book again, and learnt the words I've learnt, because once you understand what they mean and you put them into a sentence and you bash them with somebody with it, they're so perplexed. They don't know if you're real, they don't know if you're mad. They have to go and fetch legal experts, and they have to go and fetch people above themselves, and then when they come back perplexed, like, oh my goodness, the rules, it's so satisfying. It's like, yay, yay, the boy next door knows what he's talking about. I did tell you, your belligerents will not win the day.
Yeah, it's just amazing, isn't it? Their attitude, and as soon as you counter them with something, I mean, I've seen them just change colour when you go, but what about what? I don't understand. How do you know that?
I've been asked. I've got it recorded. I've been asked if I'm reading from a script. It sounds like reading from a script, and I'm sure it does. When you're uneducated.
And it doesn't take, you soon pick it up, you soon understand the verbiage, you soon, especially even if you're just doing letters and stuff, you soon understand how to write, and then it just becomes part of your vocabulary. It just happens. Absolutely. And then you're using all the right words.
It's part of your lifestyle. You can't turn it on and off. It's a part of your lifestyle. You can't turn it on and off. Once you're in the knowing, you can't become unknowing.
No.
It just becomes a part of who and what you are, and that's what's brought me to who and where I am today.
And we're very glad of it, mate.
And understanding of that one realm, it's taught me so much.
Yeah.
Along with the teachings of my good old Nan. So blessed be, I tell you. I'm blessed. I'm blessed to have
you. God, Nan, all love to you.
You lot are helping me, It's like, we're not alone. It's not me. It's not Dave. Like I said, it's not you. It's all of us collectively. It's amazing.
Yeah,
all the admins. It's a very clever souls, my admins. I tell you, all hand selected by.
Oh yes, indeed.
Andy's children. We're all Andy's children.
And I love you all.
Yeah, it's a family. Yeah, that's what it is. It's not a management of a team. It's a family, and That's
It
how we
is.
need to look at it. And it starts at home with your neighbour in the community. And we need to get back to basics again with a certain amount of a few things, and reintroduction of trust is, I think the big man upstairs, never mind this big man here, the governor, the main governor above all governors, I think it will be, I don't know, he obviously saw this coming because it's outside of time parameters, but we are, all of us are taking a key part here in no small feat of the most complicated area of anybody's life above the politics and Brexit and stuff. This judicial realm and the rights and bondage of man is something where once you cognize it and you take this and you use it and you do as we say and you do something that Kevin's done, then you become at a vibratory level where it becomes impossible for you to be scared anymore, to be intimidated, to be blackmailed, to be solicited by letters coming through letterboxes with big red writing and boxes and telephone calls insinuating that you might be breaking the law and you might need to make payment to stop a prison. Is it committal to prison? Are we talking now for a civil issue committal to prison? I don't think so, boys, but it's happening right now because of ignorance, and it's not right, and it's not big, it's not clever, but we're going to stop that, and we're helping to stop it, let alone the suicides and the deaths. This tonight 10:25 10:45 BBC, I'm not promoting it, but Panorama is going to do a universal credits documentary. I'd like everyone to make notes of researchers, names, anything we could later contact after this and get something from it. This is the same corporation that brought Killed by My Debt, remember, as well. So they're picking up on this and they're telling us what's happening in black and white, and we're going to get legislation passed again, and we're going to get things happening with this Brexit and whatever else, and we need to be on the ball. So it is a family effort, and we have the power just to put things in place right now, and to have a voice still. And we'll show you, these boys here and I will show you where your voice is and how to correctly use it without full public liability of such infractions of. You've got the duty and the obligation, not just for yourselves but for your unborn lineage. We are the trustees of this realm, not just the beneficiaries. We are entrusted, the ones that can't speak, the disabled, the elderly, the animals, the ecological system, the airwaves, the water, the future of it all. It's ours to govern and manage, and we can make excuses as much as we want, or we can wait for some kind of rapture, but I don't think either of them are an option.
We are the law, mate. We are the law. We are the set law, and the law is land, air, water, of which we have dominion of, and we have to put back that which we take. Don't let greed get you there, but it's the greed of the corporation that's swallowed up
law.
everything.
Slow that down. Rewind selector. He's done it again. Slow that. Spell that out, Andy. Spell it out. That was what did you just say there? Law is what?
Land, air, water. We have dominion over the land. We have dominion over that which flies in the air. Air is substance of life. We require the water and the air for life, and the air is it's all ours, and it's from the Creator, which whomever you think that may be, it's that they call God. It's the grantor of dominion.
Yes.
So the grantor of dominion has given man the dominion of the law, the land, the air, the water, as set law, and for remedy from the seeds and the fruits and the berries that bear of the trees. They are there for the animals, and we are here also for the benefit of our person. And once you know how to implement that, how to use your instrumentation, which we all behold, things become a whole lot easier. And the mind's eye can see through these impositions, because that's what they are. They're imposed upon your persons, these rules. It's a force of law. And to impose is to trespass when you look in the dictionary. So they're all imposed upon a person, all these big bold letters and threats and courts and this and that and another. But when you have the mind's eye to see through the bullying and you know whom you are, then you can rebut their assumption and presumption in the first instance. And you can do it in a calm, timely, non-vexatious, passive, knowledgeable way, which is what we are bringing forward now.
I respectfully
Absolutely.
decline. I respectfully decline. We have the right not to
Absolutely.
partake. We have the right to do. If we don't have the right to a choice, the basic end of
That's
it,
a
then there's a problem,
dictatorship.
isn't there, Andy?
That's right.
Yeah,
Then
there
I'm
you go,
enslaved.
mate.
Absolutely.
Yeah, free
If
will.
you're
Yeah,
enslaving me, if you're telling me I must, then in this first instance, you must clarify that. You must write it on
and
paper and put your
yeah,
signature to it, and I shall bring
Yeah.
this into a court of law. And we'll have shall we say, a judicial review, or would you like to say we'll have their jurisprudence look at it, or whatever you would wish to term it to do, you
Yeah.
know? Come on.
Fantastic, mate. It does change everything. You know, once you know who you are, as I say, with the way we're signing off, with the lowercase, it really has changed everything. I mean, we knew what we did worked, but now we've moved on to using it for family, if you like, you know, friends and family. And we've changed. You know, as I say, the lowercase, all the sign off. It's
It's the
just changed
lowercase,
it.
it's the title. You know,
Yeah,
if you're going to be Kevin, that's fine. But if they wish you to be Mr. Kevin, well, that's fine also. But it must be an order. Are you
yeah,
ordering me to do that? I shall fulfil your order for you. I shall perform. However, you know, there shall be just and fair exchange. I
yeah,
require compensation for the performance,
yeah,
and that's how it goes. If you take on any title, so you remove the assumption presumption of that straight away, right in the
yeah,
first instance, and then you reset the capacity of either man, and then you put straight the relationship within the trust that is the birth certificate as set law to the beneficiary, leaving the
yeah.
trustee position right there open for them to pop in their hand.
Yeah,
Thank you
jump
very
in
much.
there. I've left you a
Absolutely.
seat.
Absolutely. Would you like a few biscuits with your tea?
Yeah, come on. We're all friendly here. Come and take this chair.
We're a loving family, aren't we? I are you, you are I, and all that. You know, you got your bills to pay, so have I. You've got your future assets and property to protect and ring fence, the same as I. You might call them children, you know.
Yeah,
Forgive them, Lord, for they know not what they do. The deceived shall be deceived. And we're just here to bring forth that we're not to treat these individuals in a vexatious way, because they're also indoctrinated and vaccinated and fluoridated. So,
yeah.
you know, treat them with dignity and respect, and you get a lot further than ringing up on the phone, effing and jeffing and telling me, oh, it's all
Oh,
wrong,
it's
it
no
ain't
point.
fair. You know,
You get nowhere with that. I mean, we you know, obviously when I first started dealing with these prawns at DWP, you're talking to a telephone operator who hasn't got a clue. I mean, it's infuriating, but you cannot. That's how they want you to be, so that you
so
trip
you're
up and they
frustrated
put the phone
and
down.
you hang up. That's right.
Yeah,
And that's another customer off the books, which they're getting paid for. It's ironic. It's
yeah,
absolutely.
it is crazy. So,
But
as I
there you
say,
go.
for me, that was the hardest thing. Not the hardest thing. That's the wrong thing to say. That was my first step. Lose the anger. Don't you know how the phone call's going to go? So don't get wound up about it. You know you're talking to an idiot, so laugh about it. Laugh, you know, in your head when they give you these stupid answers. Just make a
Yeah.
joke out of it. You know it's coming.
Brother Dave,
You
it's
know
time
that's
that
the way I deal with it.
we haven't done a health and wealth for a little while, bro. So we need to do a health and wealth real soon. Promote your silver water as well, and
Yes.
some new tools and techniques that I've picked up and learnt this year. I wish to share as well, and ways to be awareness and at one with yourself before you even pick the phone up. You know,
Yeah.
go through the role, be it, know where you are, get your stuff around. Your preparation is absolute key to get the
Yeah.
maximum application and get yourself centered and ready for it. Is, you know, the aware self
That's it. You know
awareness.
what you need.
Make sure you're
As you say,
breathing
Andy.
steady, but just even your breath. Be aware of your
Yeah.
own breath. The smallest things that we all forget about are vitally important, because these
Yeah.
people are there to rev you up. They ask you tricky questions. They almost tell you to go and F yourself, you know,
Yeah.
but without saying it. And they're there to train to do that. So
Absolutely. Yeah. They're not there
calm
to
the
tell you what
sympathy.
you are entitled to. They're there to tell you what you're not.
That's right. Exactly
And
that.
that's exactly how they're taught.
But
So as
once
soon
you've
as you start
compelled them
telling
to what
them,
they have to do, that's right. Until you've actually told them, then they have to. But they're not
yeah,
forthcoming with what they can do. That's the trouble here.
yeah. Yeah, because I mean, I remember at one point they were pulling all this legislation on me, and I'm saying to them, "Well, when was that revealed to me? Because it wasn't revealed to me when I signed. Therefore, it's null and void. So, could you send me all the legislation that you're saying?" And they said to me, "Oh no, we can't do that." I said, "Well, why not?" They said, "Well, you have to go online and look it up." Excuse me, I have to look up your legislation. What? But yeah, they soon change that. But that's the sort of things they do. No, it's up to you to go and find it. No, it isn't.
Well,
what are you talking about?
The next question there is: am I licensed to understand that language?
Yeah, I speak it? Yeah,
it's not of my society. It's not what I've been taught. So I haven't got a clue what it means. Are you licensed for it? Can you speak that? That's why I'm asking you to send it to me. You are here for me. I'm not here for you. You are here for me. Let's get this rolled straight here. Let's remember why I'm talking to you today.
Why you've got a job.
Exactly. Without me, there is no you. Let's put this straight. It doesn't matter whether it's a school teacher or a hospital, whomever they are. You know, without us, there is no them. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
We put them
Absolutely,
there.
mate. Brilliant. But as I say, you know, this what we've learned now, or the way we approach it now with the language and the status and capacity and standing, it's changed it. As I say, I was shocked. I couldn't believe that you know, this letter on Thursday. It was a bit of a shock. I even phoned Graham and I went, "I've listened to this first letter," and he went, "What?" I went, "Yeah, first letter. No, what's going on?" And the only thing is, you saw that letter, Andy. I gave it to you for approval, didn't I? I wanted you to look over it before we sent it. You did make corrections. We went back and corrected them. We showed it to you again. You went, "Yeah, give us the thumbs up." Off it went, and look what's happened. Look what's happened with our friend.
Well, I've also, you know, gone over recent paperworks with other individuals, and they've been in persona and presented them, and had the self-given authoritarians run away, literally turn their back and run away.
Yeah,
and I've never heard nothing since. So we're
that
going
makes
for
you
damages.
feel wonderful, doesn't it? Eh? Look, someone on their toes.
Very, very nice. They've obviously remembered which jurisdiction they're in.
Yeah.
Man's jurisdiction.
No, yeah, it's absolutely, mate. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. As I say, you know, I can't thank you guys enough, and all the admins, all the family on Facebook, on SPLs, everybody has had some sort of, it might have been a comment, it might have been, but everybody's had, you know, we've picked up stuff from, and the hive mind is just fantastic. I've never known anything like it. And also you know, when you're in on the page, you're in comments and that, we get very little nonsense off of people or anything like that. We don't get we get the occasional idiot, but you know, doesn't everybody? But it's just the whole ambience of what's going on, and everybody's in there for each other. It's just beautiful. Is the only word I can describe.
There's a level of education with a certain level of camaraderie too. We've got the perfect level and mix, and like you say, there is the odd idiot. I would like to think that we're all idiots, but just every now and again, one of them acts the fool. You see, So we're not to mistake idiots for fools, because they're two different things. You can't best a fool.
No.
So, but as a rule, yes, it's loving. It's of a good nature, of a good vibration, and you know, a certain resonance on all singing from the same sheet. You know, and those that are just joined and whatnot, that they're soon quick to learn, because the vast amount of information on there, the vast amount of videos that Dave and I have done, and the vast topics that me and Dave have covered, just me and him, two lads from next door, and we've talked everything from Tesla's technology to which jurisdiction of the realm we reside today and
testicles.
why. Exactly. You know, we've gone headlong into this. We've lost you know, a lot of our hours and hours and hours of our time that we'll never get back for this. You know, and we're unselfishly and givingly, we're here in the public domain, just trying to give what we've got, what's right and proper and faithful and truthful to us, our gospel, our truth that we've come to recognise and stand under, to know, to be right and proper, and
Yes.
and justified, and justification can be found within what we do. You know, so if it's proper to me, it's proper to you, and that's how we operate, and that resonates across the SPL's platform. And splspro.com is the place to come to be in complete privacy, where you'll get the best information, the best documents, the best help, and all that's required to get the remedy of the realm of that's required for you. You know.
Yeah.
So there you go.
No, it's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing. I'm really humbled to be part of it now. I was quite happy on the, quite pleased to be part of the gang, but since I've been brought into the admins and stuff, and obviously I met most of the admins at the seminar in July, so that was great. Having met everybody face to face, which makes a lot of difference as well, because you all know you actually are there, But no, it's beautiful. I can't thank you enough. I mean, obviously I'm learning like everybody else. We're all learning every day. It doesn't stop.
Absolutely.
Nothing stops. But it's fantastic. I like learning stuff every day. And it might not necessarily be anything to do with law, but there's always some new information coming your way. Little snippets.
Do you know,
what do you mean a PO box? What do you mean a PO box is a non-contracting venue? What things like that make life interesting, isn't it?
I would like to have feelings in my heart that those that don't quite know, and when they come to SPLs, and that it's quite a change, and it brings you to the age of maturity. And I've been told that I'll bring you from a person to that of a man. It's quite a humbling thing because of how I do it. And Brother G loves how I do it, and that just, if he can just sit me down in the same room with a room full of individuals, and I can just let me talk for an hour, I can set your cogs turning and stuff like that. And Dave does it in his way, and I do it in my way, and together we can just blast it out, and we've got to get it out there, what's right and proper,
Yeah.
And we're doing all right so far. We've attracted good souls like yourself and all the rest of the admins and the fam, and it's ace at the moment. So power and strength and beauty to us, because God loves a trier,
Yeah, your verbiage, Andy, the way you speak, the way you carry yourself, is just outstanding to witness. I mean, even before I met you, I mean, I know that it might sound like a strong word, but was in awe listening to you. And I think you've just got the way you come across. It's perfect for teaching, and people want to listen to you. That's how you compel people to listen without trying. It's fantastic. It's really fantastic.
I was completely ignorant to that fact until the past few months, and people tell me that fact, and it's still very difficult for me to accept my own value. I'm still to this day have struggles with that very thing with my own relationship. I've been working on it. I've been to counselling and things, but it's very difficult to do what that to me. I'm always been used to giving out, and giving out is masquerading what I'm doing for me. So that's what I'm saying by coming to SPLs. I'm thinking and hoping that the biggest lesson that we learn isn't about law, isn't about anything else, but about ourselves.
Absolutely.
I'm hoping to teach man about themselves, who they are, how to enact the role correctly with the correct verbiage and the correct enactment, to be in honour and to have clean hands. And it's a massive, huge undertaking. It's no little thing, let me tell you. It may sound easy. It may sound little, and over, and you'll wake up tomorrow and it'll be done. No. It's not like that.
You're not going to learn. You're not going to get your head around it in a day or two. It's a bit of a longer process than that, but it is so rewarding once you understand that, understand that who you are, what you are.
And I have a good way of saying it quickly to help cognize, because I've watched videos. My learning, I've watched other people talking. They can take sometimes 6 or 7 hours that I can get down in 20 minutes in one page of paper. And it's that I've always tried to do, to bring it back to that which we all stand under and comprehend, without going all around the bus route and whatnot, straight through the middle. There it is there, mate. How'd you like that? Lovely jubbly. And that's just the approach that catches the eye, and I seem to have done it unbeknownstly, because that's how I enact and enroll myself when I'm on the seas of commerce. You know, and obviously it resonates with others, and I'm thankful and grateful and humbled by that. It's amazing. I've had
You got a
nothing
massive
but
following,
positive
Andy,
feedback.
you know?
I didn't realise that until recently. It's amazing. It really is. It's
You
amazing.
deserve it, mate. You know, that's what you resonate. This is what, you know, what you put out. You're getting back. It's as simple as that. It's coming straight back to you tenfold. It's fantastic. You know, so everybody I speak to, you see the comments on the Facebook, on the SPL about you, how you speak. Everybody's fascinated. Can't wait for this. Next time Andy's doing that. You know, and Dave's just, you know, but as I say, they specifically with the way you deal with everything, that is people are just loving it, mate. And you have got this amazing personam, or, you know, the character, whatever it is that is you, it just shines through, and it resonates with everybody, mate. And you can't help but being drawn towards you and to what you're saying. Come on, get them out. Let's have a look.
No, I didn't want to get them out last time, mate. It makes me embarrassed. I'll go all red. It was just an impulsive reaction that I'd done of strength of character and love for the family. You know, not to show my bloody guns. A 45-year-old man with a grey beard, mate. I don't go to the gym. I don't train. I don't do them things.
I'll show you a grey beard, mate.
You know, so yeah, it's just be right, eat healthy. You only get out what you put in. You know, if you want to eat shit, you'll be shit. If you want to eat good, you'll be. You know, it is what it is. If you want to drink shitty water, that it is what it is.
Yeah,
get yourself the best that you can, the best that you can afford, the best that you can get your hands on. Either way around, grow your own, I say. But there you go.
You know, you've taken in the knowledge in the right spirit and vein and understanding. You're now putting it out in the same way, and then all this love and respect and understanding is coming right back at you. It's coming right back at you. This is what you've made the path, and we're all walking down it, mate. So you're getting back exactly what you deserve to get out of it. That's all I can say. That's the truth as I see it with you and all of us on the team, but specifically with you and the way you come across. You know, I'm amazed by it. I think one of the first comments I ever put on FB was, I aspire to be like Andy Sovsmith.
Stop it. Come on now, let's move on. I can't breathe.
Embarrassed. All right, love, don't worry.
Dave, cut him. Dave, save me.
Everybody can subscribe to the way that the morals and ethics and compass of Brother Sovsmith. So it is true what you say there, Kev. Man is lacking a certain amount of ability to communicate effectively and communicate concisely. So what we think we want to say and what comes out, somewhere along the line, there's a cognitive breakdown, and we cannot put into how, because one, we don't know, and two, when we do know, we get mixed up with the legalese, Japanese and the Chinese and the babble. So what we have to do is go back to basics, and Andy does that quite well, whereas I use 1,000 words, Andy uses 10. So together we balance it out, and you can get the guts and the garter from me, and then you can get the simplicity and the practicality from Andy about how you would do that. So you said earlier, in fact, you're good at this now as well, and that's a sign of the cognition that you've got as an admin and your own development personally. As you said, you can have one foot in both worlds. So that is called liability. That's managing liability. So that's you recognizing there is a certain amount of rights for the man, and then there's a certain amount of entitlements for the person, and the man's rights are afforded to him with the person as remedy, and you are safeguarding the rights of the man whilst affording the liabilities to the person, which is correct, and you are immersing in the commercial admiralty, UCC, whatever it is, whilst being anchored and tethered to dry land and safeguarded and protected. That in itself comes from knowing whom you are, does it not?
Absolutely.
And at some point, the penny clicks for us all. And when that penny clicks, you will never again have that fear, and you will never again have that confusion. And you will see that the instruments that they come in these rectangle shapes, It's just a bit of paper ultimately.
Stationery.
But these bits, what they put on there and what we give it credence to is totally. It can be anything. Absolutely anything can be put on a value bit of cheap paper, and we too can turn it into an instrument of tremendous value, can we not? And transfer by endorsement and etc. You know, these autographs, the autograph is highly key, is it not, as well? You know, and the signature, those bits, cognition, click.
Most of my heart and soul and resonance, right, from separate to my law education, comes from music, okay? And I resonate a lot of the terminology and lyrics from music, and I bring it into my verbiage as well. And I do it with David, it makes him laugh. Not only do I speak from the Bible, I speak from music. And one of my favourite all-time bands, you know, Dire Straits, and they sing Brothers in Arms. And they tell us in there that we have just one world, but we live in different ones. And it's all these little key things, and a lot of the lyrics from Pink Floyd, when you sit down learning to fly and coming back, and Brick in the Wall and Comfortably Numb, and all these things that mother, who is mother? When they sing of mother, who is mother? Is it your mother, my mother? Who is it they sing of? You're familiar with the track, aren't you, brother?
I am.
Mother, do you think they'll drop the bomb? So, and they're singing of us and them against the regime. And whom is mother? Yeah. Well, of course, it's Mother Earth. And when you come to comprehend and cognise what's going on here in the forefront, being given to us on a plate, when you look at their album covers with the triangles on there and the sun above it and the four cornerstones of the plane, it's all on there. And the lyrics. And so these certain bands, and the book that I've come to comprehend and listen to and look at and read and can comprehend myself has brought me to who and where I am, along with living with an elderly lady. That's what's brought me my loving morals and respect.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd have gone a long way, wouldn't it, mate?
So, yeah, and that's how I do it, mate, because music is uplifting to me. You can listen to a song today happily and it will make you dance. You can listen to that same song tomorrow in a lower vibration, and the same song will make you cry. And that's the beauty and power of music, and that's why, you know, I love it so much and advocate it. You know, get up and dance like no one's watching. That's what I say, mate. Get up and move it about a bit. Be happy, have a high vibration, exactly. That's how I try and do it, mate.
Well, you succeed, Andy. Take it from me.
Thank you, mate.
You know, because I am a voice of authority, as you know.
well, you are the author of your book. You authorise whom comes in and out of your gate. The gate to your estate you keep, and only through your authorisation, only through your author of the realm shall it come. Nobody else, only you. And that's bestowed upon every man of the realm. And womb man. I always say man, but I mean womb man as well.
Yeah. We'll let you off that one, Andy.
You know what I mean when I say that. Come on.
We know exactly what you're talking about.
Thank you, mate.
No worries. It's a pleasure. Always a pleasure, Andy. Never a chore.
So we're going to look back. It's good. Just let that get that bit sorted out. But we've effectively found a way now. Then, Kev, we initially had a way and a process we was looking at. It was a 3-stage process to deal with these situations with the DWP and ESA appointments, and now. To summarise, it looks like from the recent developments and the evolution of your documents, it's gone down to a 1 or 2-step process.
Exactly.
Yeah? It's a 2. Basically, I think mostly you're going to find it's a 2-letter process. The only reason I think that
if we're late, if you're late in time doing that, Kev, because much like the language, we've shortened it down. But by shortening down the verbatim, it's shortened down the process as well, because it leaves them less room for manoeuvre.
Yeah,
they can't even send anything back of rebuttal against what you send them. So that's why it's narrowed everything so down so quickly, and that's why I talk and do what I do, because that's the power of it. I'm not into playing tennis. I'm not spending £11 this week on registered delivery and recorded this and waiting, and have they got it? Phone them up, who's signed for it? All that chasing about business. No. Get it right. Cut. You know, my nan used to say, you measure you twice, cut once. So get it right.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
get it in there,
Absolutely.
mate.
Yeah, mate.
And
You're
that's
right.
and that's where me and you come to when we were speaking that time on the video. We both cognise where we're at. With mind met mind, eye met eye. It's the beauty of having this video calling technology these days, because imagine trying to text that to one another or something on this type of platform. You know, it drags on and on. So luckily we done what we did, mate, and to shrink it all down. It just to shrink the process. It's all as it's doing. They cannot. There's no more. You know, it's so tight. They can't move. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, it has changed. You know, it really does make a difference. As I say, the strange thing is, you think to make things more in your normal mind, you think, well, the more I add and the more I lay on, the stronger this is getting. But it don't work like that.
No, because it takes them 3 weeks to read it.
Well, they don't even bother, do they? Can't even read. God's sake. Some of them on there, but yeah, that's what happens. You know, it's like the response you get. You send them a letter saying the UK doesn't exist. It's a corporation, blah, blah, blah. So where are you registered and all that? And they write back and they tell you, oh, yeah, we're registered in the UK. You think we didn't read that then, did you?
I've got pieces of paper I could show you right now, evidential fact, mate. And they're about, you know, just over a piece of A4 or whatever. And literally, I haven't even used the top third of the page. It's just a couple of sentences at the top of the page, and that's my defence, or that's my notice, or that's whatever it is today, and that's how I have authorised it. If I serve that to you, then you on notice, then Lord help you, because you're in trouble now. And you don't need case files and suitcases and trolleys to pull it all. No. 1, 2 pieces of paper, we're in ski.
Yeah. As I say, you know, stands with our mate here with this one letter, I was just gobsmacked. I thought, well, that's the only thing we've done different is the state of standing capacity, the lowercase, changed it. And, you know, his has turned out to be one letter. They're not even bothering with the why didn't you turn up?
We had a response saying after one letter, also the offer to be included in the support group, of which we need further information for and from to see if he consents to that, if it's going to be a benefit too, is what we mean. And then they also said no more face-to-face appointments will be required. So after me going around in a loop for 4 to 5 months, 60 odd phone calls, 3 different case reference numbers, Chadder, DWP, ESA, it was an headache. Then this has come along and it's remedied. This is the end of the day. We can't call it a remedy until something happens more than once. And it's happened more than once. It's happened like 5 or 6 times irrefutably, and we've stuck to it. Remember James, brothers that come to Facebook, brother James, Sheffield, he came in, he had a genetic bone marrow issue. They said at that appointment, well, you can press a button, so clearly you can work. And he's like, well, okay, imagine there's a fire and I now need to get out and I'm less able. Health and safety dictates I can't be insured to go to work because I'm unable to get out unaided in the eventuality of a fire. So health and safety protocol overrides your medical assessor telling me that because I can press a button on the keyboard that I can work. No, there's more to life than just being able to actually be classed as an output machine. You know, man has grey areas. The law has grey areas, and these assessors,
that's what
these
it is.
Assessors have a point system, and they have trickery, deceptive ways, don't they, of making sure you get put in. And at the end of the day, lest we not forget, we've got these. We know who we are. We're very, very close to shoving all this down in the bin and saying, actually, we're going to take the other option, the other box, please. You know, but we're not there yet. So we do ultimately recognise that man. And this is back to Kevin. a foot in each realm, because if you immerse yourself all the way in the public, you accept that liability. If you stay over in the private, you can never get what's in there to get access, to get help if you might need to. Andy, you know about things like cutting your nose off to spite your face just so you don't contract. But there are ways we could argue that there would be. We are the men to know ways of contracting and removing liability now. You know, it's a dangerous game, but it can be played. It's like, you know, the judicial realm and these trusts and trustees. It's a dangerous game, but with your confidence and your application,
come out on top every time.
Fail. It cannot fail. Yeah, you stand there. Come on, it doesn't fail. They push you. They push you to the edge. They'll push you to that, and you can stand there. There's a language of silence as well, boys and girls. You know that must be Chatterbox here. It knows this as well. There's a language of silence, not just being quiet.
I am the master at that, mate. I have mastered that.
Yeah.
Because in their rules, silence is acquiescence, and if you don't know what acquiescence is acceptance. You're saying yes. So at times they will push you with leading questions, and you're going to not give yourself the awareness, what I was speaking earlier, the awareness and the chance to breathe a moment and give yourself a minute to respond correctly to these leading questions, because they heat you up, you see, mate. So what in turn happens is when they've got your heartbeat going 120 a minute and stuff, and you're irate right now because they're pushing you back and back, mate, you'll give sudden reactions. You start reacting, and the more you're reacting, the more your serotonin and, you know, your pheromone and your hormones are racing around the body. You're getting more and more perplexed. You're sweating now, and you know, these systems are. Yeah, these systems are trained for that. It's exactly what they're looking for. It's exactly the provoked response they're looking for. They've been
designed by they're also designed by specialists. These forms and the way they're laid out are designed by specialists.
If you can sit there in personam, so if you can sit there in personam whilst they're pushing you and testing you with these leading questions silently, in calm, collective manner of yourself, they can't push you no further. And then if there comes a time whereby you need to respond, you can respond adequately in the correct manner with the right answer.
Andy, react and respond. Come on, that way earlier.
Yeah. So, and then you'll give the correct response, whereby to push them back again, rather than reacting with some type of nonsense, whether it be effing and jeffing or spitting legalese terms out or whatever the case may be, because they'll try and trip you into their jurisdiction. That's what goes on here. Yeah. So, although silence is acquiescence, it's also very powerful on our side when, you know, when you get arrested, shall we say, or which is stopped by the police. They've threatened to arrest you, but they've already arrested you when they stopped you.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right.
Can you two see the chat room, or shall I? And we've got some interaction. 56 with us now.
I can't see the chat room. I haven't got it glued over on the phone.
The chat room either, mate.
No.
Yeah, we're getting. There's a comment now from a user called Mr. Menza, and it says if they follow a lot of truther topics on the net. Us, our family, and the work we are doing is absolutely amazing. Top draw. Many, many thanks for all the time and effort you have all done. From that user there, and I just said I love the subscribers, aka family, and we're honoured to bring this excellent news. And Kevin is a star. There's a lot of interaction. There's quite a lot of we've got quite a lot of the YouTube cream of the crop here. There's a lot of names that I recognise that I see on other channels.
Kevin is a huge star. He's about 6'4". He blocks a bit of light, I tell you. So yes, he is. He's got a big brain in there, and he's utilising it well. He's in our reflection. We're very proud of him, and we love him dearly. Absolutely.
Things are bad. Things are worse now than they were in Thatcher times. Again, from Menza, I've just caught that there.
He's right
yes,
there.
they are. Yes, they
Thanks,
are. Because
Menza.
now they're enticing you out onto the street so they can batter you. You know, they're bringing out 5G campaigns and, you know, all these sorts of other things, and cutting the trees down, and they're wanting all protesters, tree huggers to come out to the street so they can whip them and belt them, incarcerate them, and get some money out of them, fines and forfeitures. While they're bringing out the old Agenda 21 and one currency and cashless society and all this type of thing. They're bringing out the strong ones of the society. Those are going to stand up and say no with these other agendas while they steamroll over the rest of the flock.
Yeah, absolutely, mate.
And as I said to Brother Dave earlier on a private call, it's almost like a wave coming, like a tsunami. And those that don't know whom they are, by the time 2030 comes, mate, they're going to be drowned in the perils of the sea, because you know, the Admiralty and maritime law there that's coming in through the EU to wipe out the common law jurisdiction, which their government call Brexit. It will be here by 21. It's as simple as that. But I can talk about all sorts of realms and subjects and stories, and it's, you know, not just the jurisdictions of the law, but Brother Dave and I have been down all the rabbit holes. So there's a vast deception here. It's going on with a conception of you being a person, and once you know whom and what and you are and what they are, it's easily remedied. That's what we're saying here.
Yeah. It's all good.
We are. Donald Trump is the president of a corporation. He's not the president of America and America's men. He's the president of a corporation, Columbia, Washington D.C., and the people in the
Square mile jurisdiction, the same.
And that's it. And then you've got Theresa May. You've got not president, but what's your prime minister? And she's the people of the United Kingdom. United Kingdom is a trust. So here we have the divides, and then the men underneath propping up. We've seen that picture, haven't you, with the men with the backs down and a table on the backs, and all the rich people eating off the table.
Silly things.
That's what's happening here.
Silly things like when you know, so there's a lot of legalese language within our language, and when we say things like people is a body corporate. It's not that of man. So it's all these things that I'm saying. When we draft up our documents that we draft up, people are not cognising the way and the specialised way that they have to be manuscripted, because there shall be no legalese in there whatsoever, like person and child and people and citizen and all these things. You know, it's got to be void of all that, and it takes a lot of work to do that. You know,
look in the book. In the book as well, man, he created, mate, it doesn't say he created persons or he created citizens in his image, you know. Elohim Ra creating persons.
Man created government, and government created a person, and then the government imposed its rules of business upon a person.
You see, and it's all there, brother, isn't it? Not there in the beginning, man.
So what happens there? It's their rule of business. And they've tricked us into thinking by putting capital letters at the beginning of our names and stuff. They're mixing the jurisdictions of the law by doing that. And they're tricking us into thinking that we are that person, that piece of paper for us to step up in persona and enact that role. And sometimes turn up in personam as well to suffer more fine and forfeiture at the hand of the robe, casting spells upon you through magicry. And this is what's going on here. Now, if all of these individuals think that they're above you, then you need that clarified on paper and signed for, please. You know, I can't tell you what to do, Kev. You can't tell me what to do. Same as Dave or anybody else. It doesn't matter what clothes I've got on. If it says police on my shoulder, or Her Majesty's Service, or SAS, or the Queen's Blood, it doesn't matter. We are all equal in the eyes of the law and the Creator. It's as simple as that. Unless you can prove me otherwise, that's how this business is going to be conducted today.
Yes, that's it, mate. You know, it's not, once you get your head around it, it's relatively easy to stand and say, no, hang on a minute. I know I am, and I'm not having this.
I respectfully decline your kind offer. However, I may take you up on it if you can prove me this, this, and this.
Yeah, more than happy to follow to come along and play your game on condition that you show me this, and that's it. Thank you very much.
Conditional acceptance, brothers. We've got a question from the chat room about signing with an electronic signature. Someone's been applying for ESA, or was it ESA? Let me see. It was about electronic signature. How would we advise? Well, we don't give advice.
No, the electronic signature is always commercial. It's always with that of the black realm. And it's always commercial liability with a digital, because a man, if I come and done business with you two boys today, you're not going to pass me no digital instrument. We're going to shake hands and I meet time, we're off on the way. So to do anything with a digital is to either get a benefit or an entitlement for your person. You're consenting with the black black line, simple as that. Yes, because they even pass you a machine to sign into, which is also within its own four corners. So
it should be. Well, hang on a minute. Can I not just put my thumbprint on that machine? Never mind. Come on, then. Come on. What the fuck? Even the pen? Alison. It's for Alison that asked that question. Sorry. So the job centre. The job centre must be then doing mandatory electronic signature sign, where you get a pen. There's a pad at your desk. And this is what we're on about. So she's batted it off for a year. So is there a right or an obligation for the
delivery drivers? Delivery drivers use them, don't they? Delivery parcel, mate, sign here. You know.
What I would say, Dave, one thing about signing any documents you're signing for, especially for the DWP, ESA, whatever. If it's anything to do with DWP, doesn't matter if it's a digital signature or an actual ink one, VC it. VC in front of everything, because you are under duress. You are under duress because the duress is if you don't sign, we're not going to give you money. So VC it. Anything you sign.
Or quite simply, put autographed and give your given Christian name.
Yeah, you could put.
I always cross signature out. In front of them, I cross signature out and I write in autograph.
Or autographed, given Christian name, drop the family name because they're after you for the surname. That's what gives them the joinder. That's what puts you into contract. It is right there, you know. So give your given Christian name, John, Paul, Sue, Samantha, whatever it may well be, and you autograph it. And once you autograph it on the angle and put your thumbprint on it, there you go. You can't rebut that. The evidence of life is right there.
Yeah, there it is.
The same as which they take when they birth the chattel. Simple as that.
Yeah, and you can also put by in other circumstances, research by putting by, Bravo Yankee, and also the word set law is quite good in financial implications.
I always write set law. That's what I write, set law.
There's also there's different things for different situations. So depending on what status, standing, capacity going back to, depends on what we do. And it's not that hard to believe it or not. It's quite simple.
Depends on the individual case given and presented at the time. Yeah. Whatever's presented at the time requires a different jurisdiction of the law, which requires a different verbatim, which requires a different set of rules. It's just understanding which one requires what. That's all. It's quite easy.
And can I just say that fundamentally, I would like to say fundamentally, this system has been designed so there is no allegation in law of slavery. So we can't be going to the Human Rights Court of Appeal or the High Courts now down the line and saying that we have been deceived. It is fraudulent. It isn't honourable. A lot of our family and blood, and lineage and children and forced adoption and bad, there's been a lot of harm come from this. We're not happy about it. And we are presently, looking at non-aggressive, what would you call it? Disobedient. We would like to disobey to some extent. Not all of the law. We follow law and we don't cause any violence at all. But there is a certain amount that you need to think about what you're doing every day. Does it conflict with any of your morals or principles or?
I'm fully in tune with divine natural law. I shall not be contracting with a law that is imposed by me, written by the hand of man. I shall be following the just, right, and proper laws, which is inherently given within me, within my DNA. The rights and wrongs taught them by my forefathers. I know what the law is. I don't need another man to tell me what some act and statute is and some government thing that belongs only to them. That doesn't belong to me.
And that's why it's so confusing to us, because it's foreign to us. It's not our stuff. We've got to learn it, and we haven't got to learn it. We've got to interface with it because it forms part of the legal governance of all of the realm. And the UCC, the maritime, the admiralty, the ecclesiastical, it's all out there in different areas. And at some point, we all go into them areas and find out.
That's what I'm going to bring forth.
It's incredible,
that's what I'm going to bring forth on my own YouTube channel, the way that the person is under governance, but I wish to bring forth the way that man is under covenants. It sounds this. Now, once man realises the covenants that we're under and the responsibilities and the duties and the honourabilities that come with that, they'll see that it's much more honourable than trying to be that other person, for God is no respecter of a person, and they shall not cross the borders of the Canaan and speak that legal
I was going to use that a minute ago.
And on that then, Kevin, on that vein, depending on this panorama and when it was on and what comes of that and how horrific it is, and in light of the homelessness and what we've covered so far, and the the royal wedding and them acknowledging homelessness and moving them on, and Sajid Javid 10 years before, we're in a bad way here, and we're not scaring anybody because we've got a way out of it, and we've got a way out of it that uses our resources, our rights, our capabilities, and our sovereignty. And this is all the things that are slipping away: our security, our livelihood, our sovereignty, our rights, our intelligence. And if the government is going to put our youth into these indoctrination camps and say that if you don't bring them, then apparently it's against the law, and home education is, we'll sidestep that, but it is an option. But we put our youth in these indoctrination camps, and they just rinse them with garbage and Darwinian type theories that even we know as the boys next door, as engineers and DJs and such like. The information is preposterous what they've given us, and we've come to a point and a crossroads where all this information is surging behind us like a tsunami, and we've got all these critical things happening right now. I'd argue since the gravitas of the Second World War and then negotiations to end of that, we're at the same kind of leverage here but what they've done, they've coincided everything to happen, multiple, really simultaneously, deficits in schools, safety in the streets, such and such over here, doctor, and there's a lot. We can handle it, and we can tackle it. The bits that are most poignant and dangerous and critical, and we're doing a very good job of it. And I think that we have, if we pull together and we keep doing it, what we're doing here, and having these successes. We had on the Hangout the guy called Flat Earth dude bringing his mate across, and he challenged the prosecutor, Andy, and that was music to my ears, brother. That was a stateside success about trust and equity and holding him to account. Substance overflow, getting all stuff on the table. There's nothing here. Oh look, he's discharged the charges. What?
Well, when I done that video with Keith across the pond the other day, mate, that's had massive amount of hits already. The Americans are waking up large style, and when they hear the English tongue being spoken in quite a biblical context, it's pricking their ears up and they're like, oh, hello, what's going on here then? This is nice to hear. God damn it, let's go large, and they're tuning right into it, and it's a beautiful thing to see because everyone needs to do it. It is critical, it is scary what they're doing, but how scary do we need to make it before they listen, before they do wake up? Because it's okay us having this information here and sharing it and spreading it, but we can't do it for the next man. The next man has got to do it for himself, and it takes time to cognise this and put it into practice, and as much as we would love to do everything for the next man, it cannot be done. The next man needs to be stood next to us, shoulder to shoulder, while we go knock door 3 times and come and show them who's who.
And that's why we have these documents, 30-page judicial review. That's gone on the .com. We've got a Word document and a PDF, so you've got this to look over. It's not legal advice. It's just a document that will help your mind flex and bend in the areas of. It's for free. It's got an index on there on the PDF that you can interact with, and you can click on all of that, and it will take you to where you need to go. So Greg is the website technician. He's helped format my babble and my download. These aren't just my words. There's the admins, SPLs, people from YouTube. Santos Bonacci has been noted in here to do with Babylon and courts, powers of attorney. This is what you should get, at school. We'd argue you should get lawful, legal. You should get monetary mechanics. Oh, by the way, everybody, when you go out there, this is a check. It's a blank negotiable instrument, children, and it means nothing when it's blank. But once you put your signature and some words and some sums and you give it your equitable asset and, you know, consideration, that becomes a valid check, and it's based on the drawee and drawer. It's like, you know, double entry bookkeeping, accountant, mortgagee, mortgagor, and bailey, bailor, trustee, and nothing, not a damn thing. Now, why didn't they teach us that, gentlemen, brothers? Why didn't they give us Latin? Why did they give us French and German? This means nothing. Have anybody used French or German? Not very much, I bet. You bet you needed your Latin, though, when you needed, you know, and that's why it's incredible. It really is what's out there, and we will help with that coursework, that cognition. And if you want to get up to administrator Andy, Kev, David level, then it can be done. Andy, you've said about your background. They know I used to be a DJ and a warehouse manager. Kevin, you've no obligation to tell us what you've done, but something strikes me, you're not a university graduate, yes?
No. I'm manual labour, mate. Was always in the building trade, so brick labour. I build you a house, basically, start to finish, plastering, all that. But then 87, when we had the big storm, we had an opportunity to get involved with sawmilling, mobile sawmilling. We were reclaiming timber from the storm, so we got involved in that. Me and Graham and another friend of ours, Charlie, sadly passed away now. That's but always outside stuff. I can't do offices, mate. I'm not built for offices.
Oh, I'm outdoors as well, mate. I was a diamond driller for many years, mate, on the building sites, and then I've gone to be a lorry driver, you know. So,
so that, you know, I can say, I can build. I can, and as a result of the sawmilling, when that slowed up in about, I think it was a couple of years later, 89, I then went back to college and I did my HND ARB 3 in arboriculture. So I actually did it in reverse. I started off making wood out of trees laying down, and I ended up making sure the trees stayed up.
Good,
that's
man,
where I'm coming from.
That's what we call a complete learning curve. That's the type I like, mate. That's what I've been on, mate. Start at the bottom and work your way back round to where it's proper and just, mate. Absolutely. That's where it is.
That's what happened. So, as I say, many years, that's how I've known Graham, you know, 35, 36 years, something like that. Long-term friends, you know, me, Graham and Charlie. It was Charlie's father who got us involved in the sawmilling and the timber reclamation. It started with we were you know, winch lorries and timber hoists and big cats. I've got a thing for heavy plant. I really have got a thing for heavy plant.
Boys have got a thing for heavy plant, mate. Come on. I'm around heavy plant all day, every day in my transfer yard, mate. You got to love it, ain't you?
I don't buy porn. I just get the cat catalogue out.
Absolutely, mate. Get the D9 pushing. Absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, you know, man, as I say, bricklaying, plumbing, tiling, you name it, I could do it all and have done it all for many years. I say until my health ruined everything a few years ago. That's basically, I've only had to stop because I just haven't got the health anymore.
Well, that's what I always strongly wish to advocate, the fact that we only have our health and one another. All the rest is just stuff. You know, all your plastering and your plumbing and your sexy cabinets and your big telly and your fast car, it's all just stuff. Concentrate on yourself and those around you. You've only got those, nothing else, mate, you know. So,
and take it from me. Once you lose your health, it's not funny. Mm-hmm. Really isn't funny, you know. I mean, as I say, I'm fine sitting down. As soon as I have to get up and do anything, everything goes wrong.
Well, this is it, ain't it? Well, it was my tumour that got my licence took off me that led me to proper look into what's going on here, mate, and put a few things right through the learnings of my book, you know. So, tumour plays up. I was off the road last week. I have these vision problems and stuff. I have symptoms of it, but don't let it keep us down, mate. They're only trying to sidetrack us. It ain't going to happen, mate.
No chance.
Are you human or are you dancer? I sung that to Dave earlier. The sign of vital.
Brother, I've just had a message from Brother AD. I need him to send me that message again. It says, could do we as much of info, cause work you've mentioned tonight, man. Please, I'm stagnating to zombie status. So that's exactly as it's written, and I don't understand. He's mentioned about the coursework, and I need him to explain it again, Adi. I'm not trying to embarrass you. Just I know you can type and everything. Just it seems that something's gone wrong there. Please send it again. Sorry, boys.
Some predictive text and chops and these devices are like this, aren't they? So
phone pixes.
Yeah, there you go then. Anything else important to get out there? Anything else you want to cover, Brother Dave?
Chat room. They were talking about. I'd just like to reiterate that that this is not our society, and that you've covered it quite eloquently there. That there is a legal system out there that we're not trained about, and that legal system is not a lawful system. We are talking about a lawful system, and when we talk about trust, there are many types of trusts, and there are public trusts, and there are private trusts, and there are testamentary trusts, and I could go on and put a song to it, but I'll leave it at that. And this is the part that we're at. We have become now the experts and grand masters within certain realms. And these gentlemen that are brothers that are on the screen here now are not just purporting to have done a little thing here. This is hard work. This is why the Law Society demand and ask for £200 to £500 an hour, no less, for representation in a judicial or a legal realm, because this system is not easy to interface and to get along with, and we recognise that. But once you know about the system, it becomes very easy, and the relationships that you're in, or
Dave broke down. His Duracells are gone.
And I'll finish it off for him. Yes, and the realms and the jurisdiction that man is not that of a person. One's land, one's water. And everyone spurts on about common law jurisdiction. We are of a common law jurisdiction. However, common law can still suffer you a wrong. Sometimes you cannot find a remedy in the common law, at law, public level. So in that case, you would evoke the maxims of equity, because, equity abhors forfeiture, and equity will not suffer a wrong at the common law level. It's there to channel its own maxims and put right the wrongs of the common law realm. So once you know whom you are and give it the correct verbiage in that realm, put right the trust relationship.
Isn't it also he that seeks equity must do equity?
Absolutely. He who seeks equity must do equity, which means you must have clean hands, you must be in honour, and you must be able to prove your intent. You must be able to prove that you track, that you're keen on, and why you're on it, your intention of being there. And that's what it all comes down to right there. If you can prove those things, at the end of the day, he who brings claim has the burden of proof and must provide the remedy. So that's what we're doing here with these sets of rules and regulations that we have brought to ourselves, the way that we rule our own lives, the way that we think is just and right and proper to man, that which is written in the manuscript for us. We've taken on board. Manuscript. That's what it's my manuscript. It's someone else buys the Razzle or the Playboy or what. That's my manuscript. It's scripted for man. It's biblical text. You will need a dictionary for it. I needed a dictionary for it. I no longer require the dictionary for it. I know what's what now, and it is what it is. It's scripted for man, and you carry that forth, and you can stand on it. And any realm, they will all run away. I've done it. I am the walking, talking evidence. But I have letters on there thanking me for seeing me, and they don't ever wish to see me ever again. Thank you. Just in the way that I speak, and that's all we've got. We've only got our words. Our words are swords. And it's all we've got. So once you learn the right ones, the powerful ones, mate, they cannot be revoked. It's our inherent right. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, well said, mate. That's exactly what it's all about. Did we get you back, Dave?
I was in my flow and it cut me off. It actually went bzzz, and my screen, it was like a cartoon. When you get that zigzag of whiteness come past and and the TV cuts off, it did that. I even heard the noise in my headphones and thought, well, that ends that then.
It's
hilarious. But I know where I was. I was just saying that there's a legal system and there's claims on your person, and we've become grand masters at like these grand masters in the courts of chancery. Well, we're in the brotherhood of man. We recognise that. We're not trying to trick anybody. We're not deceiving anybody. The language we speak is as you hear it fall upon thy ears. When we speak to thee and thy and thou, and we look at the languages and our intent and application.
It's the covenants of the Creator. It's written in the book.
Isn't it?
Cannot be rebuked.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
It is, Andy.
This
Divine,
is my belief
divine.
of the covenants. Simple as it's divine rules of nature. You cannot rebut the rules of nature. There shall be light after dark. What goes up must comes down. It's as simple as that. There's the opposite and equals, the duality of everything. Your left and your right. It's all there written right in front of us. Our lives are already pathed. They're already marked out in front of us. We're going to hit these obstacles in life and they're going to be a surprise to us. But nature has already had these laid out for us. And it's put down to our own self-teaching. I keep coming back to it. The awareness, give yourself a chance. These situations come up in life. Don't give it the reaction. Wait a minute. Have a look at what's going on and then give it your response. Always respond, never react. This is what I'm trying to teach myself. I'm still doing it today as we speak every day.
Yeah.
Because they get you so wound up and so pepped up, you want to go and give some man a black eye about it because he's revving you up on the bloody phone. You know? So give yourself a minute and give them a minute as well. Get you breathe. That's all I keep saying, breathe.
Yeah.
I told Dave, breathe.
Come up for air. Come up for air.
And that self-awareness, that level of self-awareness to be in control of your breathing whilst you're deep flowing conversation. Try it. I'll say it to the viewers tonight. Try it. Because you have to be manually aware of your deep conscious breathing as well as hold a decent conversation, and it's much like doing the old work.
It's hard. It's real hard. It is. It's hard to keep patient. Yeah.
Go try.
It's a skill.
And your breathing exercise is most important. You must do it every day. Exactly. So if you forget to do it, it'll come to you, and you'll be driving to town one, and you think, "Oh, I've not done me breathing." And you'll be surprised how relaxed, how refined, how centered, how grounded it brings you back to that state of neutral. And if that, just give yourself a moment. So let me meditate. Call it what you wish. Just give yourself that. And what's all the rush? You're rushing to your own demise, else your own death. You're acting for the dead anyway.
Yeah, heart attacks. Yeah,
this is what it's all about. You see, the awareness of that. Don't react. Respond.
And. Identity. Before I lose my train of thought, then this is linking onto it. You have a name, but you are not a name. When somebody says, "What's your identity?" Well, hang on a minute. Well, that's what are you asking for? Man's identity or my person's? Yeah, because we're getting mixed up here. Have you got any identity? Well, this is the key crunch now. It's not just the date of birth and the surname. Then know thyself, man. A person has an identity. We have a status, a capacity, and so forth. As we're pointing out now, this is the next transition for our family, is to know that they have these. It comes in many forms, doesn't it? And it comes trickery, telephone calls, letters, callings. Andy, you have a calling, do you not? Yeah.
Absolutely. I was called
ID.
Andy. I was called other things if I was late home as well, but namely, I have a calling, and it to be Andy. And if you require anything else other than
an ID, do you have an identity though? This is what I'm saying. Have you got an identity? Can you show me your identity, please, Andy?
Of course, I've got an identity. I'm masculine. Would you like me to pop it out and show you? Yeah. Of course, I can identify thyself. I'm masculine.
Yeah, so I am David, and I'm of the clan or house Giaramita, or I am son of Giaramita, son of May, son of Giaramita, house of, clan of. I'm a clansman. I'm a private, self-governing man. You wanting to know my surname and date of birth? I don't have one. My person does, and that's. I know you know this. I'm just saying that if I was to, not argue with you, but can we express that? Look, we've made a joke before. Your Honour, if I give you my name, will you accept it? Oh, okay. Well, there you go. You've got it all. You've got the public liability, the lot there, pal. But, we was given a name, but that name doesn't mean to say that it's our identity, does it? You see, just because you've got a name of Andy.
Yeah, when
It's
they
your
ask me for
calling. It
surnames,
isn't
I'll
you.
say,
Andy isn't you, is it? It's your calling. Let's get this right.
that's
Andy's
right.
your calling. You are not Andy. You are answerable to the name. I know I'm going a little bit deep and surprising, but you can deal with this. You are known as Andy. Your calling is Andy. You are the tribunal, self-governing, private, independent, divinity, reflection of me, creator, and all of that. So their identity and calling and status is all prevalent to this video, because that's what Kevin's done. Really, he's identified the private corporate. Go on, yeah. Go on.
All that separates us is a calling, because we're all in one another's reflection. It's as simple as that. We've all been made the same. We're all been created the same. We've all been taught the same. It's only how we enact our own role. For we are each other. That's why we can empathise with one another and sympathise and laugh and joy and cry all together, all at the same time, because we are as one. But it's the indoctrination of the hate and spite and divide that's so strong and prevalent in man today that's got to be taken out. We've got to bring ourselves back to a state of create neutral, know who we are, and eat live food, and do away with voting and all these types of things. There's about, I don't know, 10 or 12 things. I must make a list of the way that man comes back to be man, and that not that of a person or a dead entity. And once you put these rules into place with yourself, and come back to where we're at, you'll be learning to fly again, and that's where it's at. It's a beautiful thing.
Learning to fly. Yeah. Love it. I'm on it.
The man cannot interact with a legal system, I'm afraid. Your legal personality, your legal identity, your fictional identity, your data self is the one. Dan and his data self, honestly. Yeah, your data self, then, if we're going to go, that company style on everyone, is the one that interacts in the legal. It's like an arrest for a civil infraction, or a warrant, distress warrant, a warrant for execution, all of this, Mr. Such and such, and they identify, but they're talking and arresting and taking the body in the flesh here for such things as. So how do they identify? There's joinder and annexing of things going off, and no man should be held accountable and imprisoned for a financial civil issue. It just shouldn't happen. But the fact that this system has allowed it, and now we're getting these, the seriousness of this video is that there may well be potential sanctions coming off, and there may well be 6 months of hardship for our brothers and sisters out there in times of this time now. It seems that they plan it around the times where man will most need money, and it will most pressure families, and they will break and fracture. So they've only got the system at this moment to call upon, because I presently don't know of any private trusts I don't know of any private established trusts that are functioning like we want to function, where we would be open, full disclosure, have an account, principal, custodian, trustees, and help man, and distribute and take on Javid's commentary about 10 years to make things safe, and we'd do it within a year. If we had £100 million, we'd spend that £100 million, and it would get spent, and you'd see where it got spent. These guys, they're masters at sending it abroad. We've looked at the islands and the Cayman and the tax loopholes and the corporations, and Trump there. Oh yes, I'm working for the man and steel industry, and we're going to get dollars flowing. But Trump, you're working for a corporation, pal, and you're serving citizens. These are not citizens. These are beating hearts of man, and they're going Trump, Trump, Trump. And even Hillary Clinton thinks she might have another look in it. I'm not trying to sidetrack, but we're in a crazy world, and we guys and this family need to lock it down. And we got, I'm not trying to get insightful again, but we're clever. We see what happens before it happens. We do it time and time again, and when we apply, we get to the justified end. So there's a lot in the mix here, and there's a lot of blithering. I'll even go Boris Johnson. How? Why? How? What a shame! Jesus!
Stop it!
Swearing.
Dave, if I wanted to go, mate, if I wanted to watch the circus, I'd put the telly on. I don't want to talk of all these circus clowns and muppets and puppets that you're speaking of, mate. They're a world of society.
Public, private school boys and so we're in a good place, and we've got a good family, and we just need to keep that momentum, keep that focus, and let this video, Kevin's production, presentation, instrumentation, all of it, and how he's done it, and his universal application of the just, right, and proper. There isn't any situation where it won't work. To be fair,
you better believe it, mate. I've nailed everybody with it. You've been there, Dave.
We are,
yes, everyone's been there. Gumshoe's been there. I've had people with me at the times when I'm nailing arse, mate. And I tell you something, you can't read, but what's just right and proper when you're there in clean hands. And you're in.
No, it's standard. It's now becoming standard, brother. That we've got this, and there's even ex-admins of SPLs looking to, offer services now that I'm aware of. I won't go and lower myself, but there's brothers in the family, brothers and sisters. Who knows? But I know brothers, and they're offering, and what we want to do is give it you and teach it and let you do what Kevin's done, and just take, that's the missing link. That's all I needed. And often you've got 90% of what it takes, and then you have a chat with a community like what we've got, and videos and interaction and documents and that, and then you go, oh, do you know what? And I
Prince will turn you into a man. That's what he normally says.
yeah, because a lot of our family, I'm finding emails and stuff that I'm getting and messages are like, do you know what? I'd given up and I've been out the game for ages, but one of the lads has put me onto your videos, Dave, and I've had a reignition of my passion for this, and I've listened and made notes, and now I've just had all the bits drop into place, and most of it's coming from this status, standing, capacity, and learning that it's not a public contract that needs the 3-letter process of conditional acceptance, but it's an agreement of which is an unconscionable, and it's all these things, and it's not that much far from where we were. It's just that they gave us 75% of the truth and covered, they even gave us notice to principal is notice to agent is principal at the top of the get out of debt and 3-letter process that was going around, and that's trust technology. And Bonacci and Eigen talked about it in 2011, 2012. It was about, but we just didn't have enough cognition.
When I come to SPLs, mate, in 2015, I brought my book with me, with full cognition of my book. If you look back early videos, I'm there with it. You must remember them, Kev.
I do. I remember, bro.
I didn't want to slam it too much because I don't want to. It scares people. They'll think you're some sort of a crazy.
Yeah, it does. Shut up, Kev.
And as soon as you get that book out, they press the off button. Oh, see you then. It's like I made a knock on the door, And
he's a nutter.
I once sold
my man.
I once sold 1,000 Bibles in one day, which you can give away for free. I did. But there you go, it's another story. Yes,
it's right. It's in there. Right, Andy, interjection. So it has been argued to me, this isn't my discovery, but it is true
Dave,
and relevant.
That's not like you, mate.
You. Yeah.
It's all there, Dave. You've
Big
flown
nose.
us all, mate. Who are you?
Boy.
You're an imposter.
Big nose.
Woo! To match them guns, baby.
It has been said that Jesus and the disciples, the depiction there is trustee, is set law and trustees, because obviously Jesus, some kind of let me think of the trustee situation where it is a story to reference this. The disciples are been comparable to when you have a big company, and at the top of the big company, like will go Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, these giants there, Walgreens Alliance and so forth, is that they have a board of directors and a steering wheel committee, and they have many, many heads on that chairman's committee, board of directors and so forth. Why? Because many heads are more use than one. So you have Jesus and the 12 disciples.
Board of governors.
Yeah, you see what we got going on here. I know the disciples, and I take the biblical aspect, but let's take, this side of it. And there's a gospel somewhere, and I always say this, but I never say the gospel, and I haven't still found it, but it says...
I always speak my gospel, mate.
Yeah, we do, mate. Yeah, we didn't know how much. The tax man is asking Jesus for tax, and he says, my dad's God, why would I consider, this isn't paraphrasing, why would I pay you the tax? And he says, you don't pay me the tax, shit's going down, pal. I run things. And he's like, okay. So Jesus looks and does look out to the sea, and a fish appears, and the disciple will call him Peter. It might be somebody else. I think it's Peter.
Matthew.
Or John the Baptist, somebody, he goes out and he gets the coin from the fish's mouth and he gives it to taxman. There's a trustee beneficiary settlor relationship right there in the biblical books.
That have intrinsic value.
Wow,
Hello,
brother. It's this, it's in that book already. It's there, and there's examples of for your interpretation. This isn't, as said. This was said by others. I forget
I
now
only
who.
ever speak of my own perception of it. I can only give my own perception. I can't speak of next man's perception. But I'm lucky in the fact that my perception of it seems to be right and proper and just, and I've got it down to a T, and I'm lucky. Woo, blessed be, baby.
Yes, I am also. I'm looking at though, Andy. This is good. This is all good, and I've done because I've looked at the Bibles, and we had Raf on that was talking about how many. Wow, I think he said something like 18 different Bibles he'd looked at. It may have been a higher number. On that's when I started re-looking at the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, because these Bibles are not to be belittled or anything, but there's a 36,000-year-old, it's been carbon dated tablet that some of these stories are taken from. And later on, when we get time, I don't know if it's up all of your streets, but I am going to continue to divulge the contents of them, because those hermetic principles that are spoken of by that Hermes, Trismegistus and Thoth are what the most of the religions have taken advantage of, like hijacked, a bit like the pagan and the Christian. We've had all of them. I'm aware of
them realms, Dave. But all that I am saying is that you can go on to them afterwards, but you only need to cognise this one single book to repel any ecclesiastical canon babble claim against you. That's it. And then you can go on further to look into who, where, why, when, the paganism, Hinduism, and Buddhism, and all the rest of the isms that come with it. They're all just isms. It's all none of them are for me. It just is what it is. It's my defence mechanism to claims made against my estate. That's that. When I have to whip it out in commerce, I whip it out and put it back away again when I'm acting privately as a man, because I'm in honour anyway, and I've got clean hands. So, and I'm in the reflection of the creator. So you whip the verbiage out as when it's required for these scumbags that are coming for you, and you live righteous and proper and honourable anyway. So it's just a way of life. It's as easy as that. You are your environment, aren't we? We are our environment. We are the creators. We create our own environment. It's as simple as that. It's really easy here. Come on.
And I'm glad you said that. That's perfectly put. So there's that's it. So if anyone's confused, that's where we're at, and with the research and development, because we've looked quite far back through a lot of the ages and years.
Right back to the phonetics, to the Phoenicians. We still speak phonetically today. We still write phonetically.
Yeah.
When secretaries are doing shorthand for the boss, that's phonetics. It's phonetically writing. This text speech is phonetics. The phonics of it, you know what it's saying, you know what it's meaning, but only half the words there. You can put numbers in instead of letters, and you'll still read it. It's the phonics, and our language goes right back that far through the Greeks and through the Latin, and right back from the Phoenicians. And it's been brought forth in these biblical texts, in these manuscripts, for a guide for us, or a guide for man. That's why it is what it is, If you take it on board and take it with the faith that it's given, with the value that it's given, you'll have remedy. It's as simple as that. Whether you have a religion or what, that's up to you as well. I don't have a religion. I only have faith in myself, and that's all I've got. I've got faith in myself, and now. I haven't got yesterday. I haven't got tomorrow. I've only got now. Yeah, and I have to have faith in myself at all times of now. As simple as that. I've already made his story. I've made my book, and further to come. I don't know what's coming. I can only manifest positivity, and all shall be well. And the obstacles that come, I will give due diligence and give correct response as and when is applicable. That's that. Nice and easy. Come on, let's get it back to simpleness here.
Back to basics.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Yeah, it is. We often get enwrapped. We often get lost in the, that's why we've done these documents, because at some point, once you've gone through 10,000 plus YouTube videos, you go past some kind of a barrier, and once you've immersed yourself into different areas and realms and that, you need someone to give you a little slap sometimes, go, oi, Do you not remember the basics? And then you go, oh yeah, and then you go back like it's a time warp, and then you go with what you've got extra, and you know, you don't need to know. Example being the Road Traffic Management Act. If we got 1,000 copies of that and gave it out to 1,000 random assorted demographic, you know, sexes, types, races, creeds, and languages, and said, all right, have a look at that in a month, give me a summarization of what you think that means, you'd get 1,000 summarizations back that were totally different. Not one of them would interpret that act the same. So tells you that there's things out there that are that unfathomable. They're not ours, they're not our society, and how we interact with them and see them is not clear. It's not, universal equality. Equality is paramount, you know, remember, gentlemen, you know.
It says there's a little sentence in my book, there's a few hundred pages in there, right? And there's a little phrase in there, and it says, seek and ye shall find.
Yes.
And let me tell you, so you seek and ye shall find. All is within. Nothing is without. If you think it's out there, then you're without. All is within. If something is happening around you in the environment that you're in, it doesn't feel just right and proper, then it probably isn't. Well, then
and that's some of the teachings of the man that ruled Egypt for 14,000 years, aka Thoth and Hermes. He says that, Andy. It says in them books, in them tablets, that if you have it, you seeking and that, once you've got it, you got instinct. It's like an intuition, isn't it?
You have to act upon it. You have to act upon it, because you know, if you're in a scary situation, if someone jumps out from behind the bush to wah, you know, not only does it instantly do your fight and flight instinct, that instantly does your heart rate, it instantly increases your pulse. You got your adrenaline, your all these chemicals and pheromones are rushing through your body in an instant. And it's those times that man has to either fight or flight, you know, and it sends these instant messages, and man's confused as to when to fight or flight. We don't know what battles to choose. We've lost in ourselves. We've got amnesia. We even mistrust and dismiss the gut instinct as a paranoia. Oh, that's not right. I'm paranoid. Of course, he's not carrying that knife towards me with that intent look on his face. I'm just paranoid. Your gut's telling you to get the hell out of this. You know.
Run!
So exactly. So seek and ye shall find, and it is all within. You've got to be safe and secure in yourself and in your own enactment of what your role is. What is your role? Why is your here? What is your purpose? You know, and once you know the answers, I could give you the answers right now. But it's for each of our own to do our own.
Kevin's an example. Kevin has seeked his own remedy here in law, hasn't he? And he's found it here. We've got an example here. This man.
There is many that have followed our path. He did say himself earlier, I've laid a path and he has followed me, and I'm really humbled by that, Kev. I love you for it, brother. And
no, I love you too, mate. It's been a great journey. Well, I'd say I'm still enjoying the journey.
It's only my path. It's only my life and my path, and it's only right and proper to me. And I do honestly, truly feel and believe that if it's right and proper to me, then it's obviously right and proper to you.
Yeah.
You know, because I do love thy neighbour, and it's this. It really is. It's a divine consciousness and trueness to yourself. Don't lie to yourself, because you're only lying to those around you. Don't keep masquerading. Whatever it might be. I've stopped smoking, but then you go down the shed and have a quick one. Oh, nobody will know. You're just lying to yourself. You're lying to everyone around you. You know, and all these traits, all these things that man has. Be open and honest. If you're gonna have a fag, have a bloody fag. You know, be at one with yourself, whatever it may well be. You know, because that's the very first key here. Know thyself. And that's what I always advocate. And all the rest comes, by the way, makes everything so much easier. You don't have to know all the 3 million acts and statutes and protocols and legislations and all that shit that comes with that.
Not at all.
Just to know who you are, man. This is what I've taught you. This is what I've taught others. You know, Dave jumped on board with me as well. He was off down the acts and statutes with the last administrators. We've all seen the change since I've took over. It's an amazing, powerful thing that I've stumbled upon myself. You know, and it is what it is. And I'm just blessed and thankful that I have, and I've interpreted it and I've understood it the way that I have.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's fantastic.
no one man can know everything. It's a combination of a
definitely
family
not.
effort. That's why we pay homage to
Absolutely.
you. We call you the People's Prince in jest. It is just a jest.
People's
He's not
Prince, I
really
love it.
going to be a prince, but it's just Charlie Slough has got the audacity to
They've
call
got these
himself that
Prince.
on
What's
that, and
wrong
he
with them
thinks he's a
Prince?
prince. So we'll go one step further, because a real prince will do nobleman things, and this nobleman got in a vehicle, iron horse, automobile, and propelled to Alderhay with me and stuff. So that's a nobleman gesture. It's actions and deeds. It isn't intents and
Intention,
notes and
yes.
signatures and crests. And when you get arrested, they don't say, "Hello, can I take your coat of arm and crest, please?" They go, "Give me your Dannies," and they take your prints and they identify the man.
After
And
they've
they
sprayed you in
process
the
and
face.
attach. And and this is, we've worked out how this system goes, and what it does, and who's what, and what does what. And it's credit to, we are surrounded in a time. I'm not going to insult the viewers because they're here and watching, so they're excluded from this. But those that later watch it are obviously excluded because they're here and they're doing something. But we're in a time where man is. Remember that scene from that sketch show where there's a grown man sucking on a man's boob, and he's on the X Factor now as a judge. But he used to do a sketch, and he had one of his we'll call him colleagues, actors, if you like, and he was Mummy Bitty was the line, and it was a joke, a running in-house joke amongst the British, and it was British comedy what they did, and it was all about men dressing up as women, making it normal, and men sucking on another man's boob, a man sucking on another man's boob on British primetime TV, the nanny state, right? And these guys out there, our sleeping, walking dead family that we devote this time to and hope that this information at some point goes across on their deaf ears, are the ones that they're going to fall by the wayside. And it's like this society we have, it thinks it's clever and it's entertained. The amount of entertainment we have is disgusting, because we have more in entertainment spent in this country, in Americas, than what we do in aid for foreign countries. So we entertain ourselves more than what we help others. Now, when we balance that out in a sovereign capacity as what we do, and look at budgets and austerity and claims and 10 years to clean up, we say no to that. We say, to quote my man in Sheffield, Matthew, and we say that's not acceptable. Actually, it's not acceptable, and we can change it, but we have got a throwaway society and an entertained society, and we've got amnesia,
for the consumer,
confusion.
Mate. You've got to keep consuming constantly. You see, for a profit.
Consume.
The wheels of profit have
so
got to
massive.
keep turning. That perpetual pound, the fiat currency with no substance, has got to keep being performed.
We've become a joke. The empire, it used to be an empire. Something, I'll go back to Greece. I've got Italian bloodline lineage. Yeah, the Greeks. Look, they had the Olympic Games, Sparta. And look at it now. The IMF have got it by the balls, by the balls, and I'm ashamed of it all. It's
listen, Dave. Give them bread in an arena, they will never revolt. That's why.
Yes,
That's why the Romans built these great big circuses.
Isn't it? Give them bread and circuses.
Give them bread in an arena, they will never revolt, mate. And that's what's going on here.
It's true. It's sad, and it's true.
We've got grown men duffing one another up because one's got a blue shirt on and one's got a red shirt on, and they're doing it with passion. And if they could turn that passion against that which is holding them in the invisible prison that they're in, mate, they would realise with the real eyes the real lies that are in front of them and that they are enslaved to pay for each week. That's why they have to go and get pissed and duff one another up to forget how much they've got to pay this week for the privilege of it all.
Yeah, that's it. Nobody. Yeah, and they're all out there. They're all out there, animated. They're animated and they're alive and they're using their free will. Yeah, so lest we not forget that, animated, alive, and free will. You're out there.
Forgive them, Lord, for they know not what they do. Exactly.
Yeah, you're not dead. Nobody's dead. Everyone's alive. You have a dead fictional entity attached to you, which is your data self. Then, as the advert says,
and as we take down our yellow brick road, we're going to pull the curtain back and reveal that little old granny turning the cog, so the big old monster's looking scary.
Hello, it's the IMF. I see, and the EU. And the UN. Oh, they're all here. The Bilderbergs, the Camp Davids. What? It's endless.
Oh, hello. They're all here.
The Crown,
Yes.
Vatican.
Mm.
Incredible.
Anyway, that's me then, Dave. I've got to get up early doors tomorrow and go and attend a wheeling in my professional capacity, and I've got to go and get a bit of supper, and I've got to get a drink. I'm a bit parched, and if there's anything
Where
else
did
I
that
can't
time
cover,
go?
yeah, it's that
Where's
time.
that gone?
Exactly. This is it. It's self-awareness. It's being, to love yourself, to kind to yourself. It's to get enough sleep, to get enough drink, to get the right vitamins,
It
minerals,
makes a big
sodium,
difference.
salts, everything that is man's required. It's got to be done in the right proportions.
Discipline.
So this is what I'm bringing forth here to us now. I'm showing us the way forward once again. I'm disciplined. I've got to go. I've got to get my hours of rest, and
You just can't help but lead, can you? You just
I
can't
can't-
help yourself.
I'm sorry, brother. I've got commitments.
No, I said lead.
Exactly. I've called upon myself, mate, to do what's right and proper. And if it's right and proper for
Absolutely,
me,
mate.
it's right and proper for you, brother. So we've covered it all, mate. There's no need to sit up till 1 a.m. We've covered the family
We'll
chat
do that
as well.
another night.
Exactly. We can little and often. We can come on again tomorrow. We can come on again the next day.
You don't want to be
only
overloading
hours.
either.
The time is only hours. Exactly. So with it being at the stages set, I'm going to call it a night from me. And it's a good night for me and all one of them, right? So, peace and love. It's been touching. It's been emotional. Be kind
Cheers,
to yourself.
Andy.
Be kind to each other. To be kind to yourself is to be kind to each other, because inward manifestation outwardly attracts, as we know anyway. So that's all I'm
Beautiful,
going to say
Andy.
this time.
Said, mate.
Right. Thank you for having me on, brothers. Thank you, Dave. And,
Love you, bro. Thank you. Respect. 2020.
Andy. It's been great having you,
catch
mate.
up.
And,
All right.
Thanks for all your words. Good luck to you,
problem.
mate.
We've only got our words. We've only got our words and each other, along with our health. It's our spells we cast, and cast them wisely, for they are
Our words are our bonds, aren't they? That's our
Absolutely.
bond.
Be
Our
careful
words,
what you wish for,
actions,
because it comes true. That's
deeds.
what I'll say. Don't be spiteful. Be loving. That's all, because the world will come back to you. The karmic retribution will not be pretty, and whether you believe in it or not, that's up to you. But let me tell you, it's there. It's real, and it's prevalent in your life. You're surrounded with it, so natural law shall prevail. Let me tell you. Right, blessed be everybody. Peace and love.
Cheers,
and we'll
Andy.
catch up. I'm going to quickly drop into the chat room and say hello in the chat room. In there, I am I of Creator, because I am of a Creator.
Yes.
So I of Creator in the chat room. I'm going to go in there now, have a little read through in a minute, and thank everybody. And blessed be, I'm off to do my thing. So
we're going to not be too long,
Dave.
Kev. We've got yes, respect, brother. Thank you. Peace and love.
Cheers, Andy.
We have an email from Flatboy about tonight's occurrences at the hospital, and he just wants a once over on the email. I said after this chat before bed, I'll have a once over and just have a quick look at this email that we need to send back to one of the doctors to say about what we would like to happen, duty of care and things I think he's angling at. So there's a final job to do before bed. I'll take care of that. Don't worry about it. And we can carry on a bit. If you've got anything more to say to back on thread to this DWP, is it ESA? Can you just summarise it all then, just for the end of the video?
Well, as I say, it all depends. If it's the assessment side of it, that's coming up. We've got the remedy, or we've got a remedy for that. If you've got any other problems, you've been sanctioned, blah blah blah. We can, there's plenty of things that can be done. Plenty of things that can be done. These letters are universal, really. So that all the process is there. You might have to lift some of it out, depending on who you're speaking to. If it's not Maximus, you'd have to lift some of it out. But it's all very relevant. As I say, a couple of things I would always VC anything you sign with them. VC before your signature on anything you sign with them. That's imperative. It all just helps along the way with the process. What else can I say? The letters are there and stuff if you're on the SPLs to have a look at and use or not.
We've got a forum. We're updated. Yeah, we got the forum that we regularly update. We do a video cast. We'll put the video links in. We've just done the civil judicial template. We've got this process coming, and this process that we've got from you is a interaction of corporate policy, and it's not again Kevin's documents that we're looking at for review are just for the study. We're not offering any services. These are just for interaction and for your, we call it, you need to be duly informed, okay? And there's nobody out there that's offering to duly inform you for free at an arguable barrister type level that Andy, Kev, I, the admins, and certain other members that are on Facebook and indeed YouTube can and do in their free time. There's deceptive ones out there that don't know the game, that steal and take and mix and merge and try to discredit and lead and mix up and often get others in lots of trouble. So we're not going to name and shame who we think they are, but what we'll do is just try and take the lead and put our money where our mouth is, and we can back all of this up with judicial wins and administrative wins and private parking charges, corporate government parking, PCN charges, infractions, judicial appearances. We're not just come out of nowhere. We've got our third birthday, which is what we call the third year since actual founding of 15th of November 2015 for SPL's. The Trust family on Facebook, and the .com is a year anniversary on the 3rd of December since where we've gone across and invested the trust fund money and created an asset which is turning into a legacy of stuff for our kin. So it is truly an honour and quite crazy and hard, massively hard at times. And there's an email to do before I go to bed, and Kev's on it, helping as many as he can. So what we're doing is we're going to try and streamline all of this and put our time and effort into one area, which would be the .com for what's honourable, right, having clean hands and keeping private. As we can tell, we can only limit what we can do in the public before we start annoying people and jeopardising our own future, and getting ending up in court, we'll say. So we have to be very careful, but they're not very honourable in their conduct, and it's quite like a war, we'd say, and it's not fair. So we have to give you a little boost, and it's not always easy, and we don't always get everything bang on, but where we are now is leaps and bounds compared to where we was 10 years ago. So Andy, Kevin, we are, we're not telling you anything. This is just a video for, I think I've called it, I think how to, or I've not called it. It's not instruction of any kind, and the .com is not a service provider.
It's personal journeys, isn't it? It's personal experience, personal journeys. That's what we're talking about. People can take from what they will. We're just as Andy would say, we're just speaking our truth, our experience. That's all we're doing.
Yes, there's a way out. There's a way of interfacing. There's a way of interfacing, Kevin. You can see that, and I can see that, and we can see that it's worked many a time. So where we say remedy, so much as it's the interface with corporate policy that we've become proficient with regards to public liabilities, rights, and separation of, and getting the alleged government, which is the DWP in this case, which would be a private corporate body acting under principal, trustees and the government and so forth, and legislation. And we got good at working out who is what, where and why, who we are, and how to get these goalposts and gatekeepers and loop the loops, as I can bring to you first-hand testamentary evidence and knowledge, rectified within a shorter amount of time, and with a far more far more realistic and ideal, we'll call it a remedy as such, but it's something that it's just a means to an end, isn't it, for the time being. It's not such an honourable way, but it's better than how it has been.
Yeah, you got to think of it basically. Because I come across quite a lot of people, and that need help, and I speak to them, and they're afraid of sending these letters and stuff. So the best thing I can say is, you got to remember that from the moment you interact with them, they're committing fraud against you. Don't have any fear. Don't have any fear about what you do.
Dishonor. So they're dishonor straight
do
away.
It properly and professionally. Don't write to them and go, "Oh, you bunch of see you next Tuesdays." That ain't going to get you anywhere. You're just going to get ignored and sanctioned, and then they won't deal with you. But you just remember, these buggers, they're the ones committing the fraud from the off, and that's from the very moment you deal with them, because they're not who they say they are. You don't know that.
So I've rang up, I've used the telephone, and I'm ringing up, and I'm using the telephone, and I've got an agent, and they say, hello, can I take your name and your surname and your date of birth, please? And I say, well, and this is it. This is another important, crucial thing. When you ring up these agents on the telephone are not trained in trust law. They're not trained in legalese. They're just agents. Half of them are school children just filling in a job in a call centre that happens to have a contract with Capita or Maximus or DWP and employs this contract on this floor. So what I would advise, I don't know if I of Creator is in the chat room and Kevin can input, but we would advocate noticing the agents and the trustees via the special signed for delivery, special delivery, because that's why it's called special delivery. It goes to, it's a certain thing. It's non-domestic. It's recorded, signed, track, trace, special delivery, and we communicate with notices through the post, because that's how business is really done, through the post. It's not really done on the telephone, getting vexatious, confusing an agent. And Kev, can you just I of Creator, if you're here, we don't so much ring and get in confused states. We would do it a different way.
Yeah, listen, don't forget, people, if you have to phone them and you're getting stressed, you have every right to say, excuse me, I'm getting stressed over this now. I need to leave this conversation because it's affected my health. Could you put everything into writing for me, please? It's ever so simple. Right, as soon as you start interacting with them, if you're starting to send them notices, then on the notice it will say all further communication is to be in writing only. That's it.
Yes. Bosh. That's
Walk
the one.
away.
Bish, bash,
Get it wound up. Before you blow a gasket, explain nicely. You're a human being. Well, if you know what I mean. You're a man, you're a woman. Yeah. Just
good call.
Explain. This is stressing me out. I cannot cope with this at the moment. I'm very sorry. Could you send it all to me in writing? Thank you very much. Simple. You make the demand. You drive the car. You drive the vehicle. You tell it where it wants to go, not them.
If you can get a friend to help you and take on power of attorney and just a general, not lasting or full powers, but general powers of attorney in this case alone to help you, you could appoint them as your agent, and they can be a barrier between you and those others, and then they can do all the writing and the notices and be included in the security. You can name them as your agent, and your agent, who is your friend, can help you interface with the other agent at the side of the government. So there's two agents at play. There's you and your friend, who is your agent, and then that would be Kevin or me, and then there's us that interface with the agents of the government. So you got agent and agent, rather than you versus the agent, because you are in an office and you are in the office capacity, and then in the principal would be the straw man where the credit, is on the certificate, the first name. You are the principal and the surety. So for a correct trust to work, there has to be certain things in play, and for it to work effectively. So that's where we fall down and take the trustee position, and namely the debtor, and interface directly, and it's all just game over. Now what we've done is moved you away from the debtor, put you into the creditor, which is why we have these situations. And it's a funny old game, but it's not that hard, because I just wanted to mention that at the end. It's all about this business here: liability, VC, and the pointing and correcting misconstrued trust relationships. So it's all trust talk, and it's all equity and trust, and it's all to do with state of standing capacity, and then how we choose to deal with it and recognize it. And it is a mammoth task to begin with, but if you stick with us, you'll soon pick it up.
Once you get your head, it's not rocket science. Once you get your head around it, and once you start using it, it flows. Like simple things like how we were taught to write letters at school. Once you comprehend what's going on, like we do now, all that's nonsense, because you're signing on the debtor's side. Says move it over to the creditor side. Put them on the debtor side.
So you're saying signing at the bottom of the bottom left or bottom right? Yes, there's a different meaning. Right, go on.
Bottom left would be left hand side is debtor's side. That's why we're all taught to write letters at school, and you always sign bottom left. No. You sign bottom right, and where you'd normally put your address. It's literally reversed. It's literally reversed, and it doesn't take that much to get used to doing it. Now they just flow, I mean, we don't use. I very rarely use any template stuff. Not what I mean is some of our stuff's in template, but Everything we've produced is all original. There's nothing stolen. There's nothing cut and pasted. It's all original work. So it was, you know, produced by myself and Graham. But as I say, you learn these little tricks that mean a lot. They really mean a lot. And it's so simple. You just remember them. So yeah, you know, moving, as you say, from debtor to creditor, state of standing capacity. It's just so powerful. Lowercase, all lowercase, unless you're naming a corporation, and that's up to you whether you want to use. I just do, because I understand the legal. So if I'm talking about a corporation, I will capitalise it because that's what it is. But you don't have to do that. But the lowercase and the state of standing capacity, the way you sign off, is just so powerful now. It's really been a game changer for our process, as far as I can see so far. They don't like it, but that's the way it is. They don't, you know,
but
they
it's
do
reality.
put up a fight.
It's the Matrix. It's the Matrix. There's agents there. Agent Smith, the Matrix did tell you to some extent. They're coming out their iPods and they're having ideas, and then they're manifesting it and they're creating their own reality, and that's the Matrix. And now they're dialing into YouTube and SPLs, and they're seeing another reality there, and they're like, whoa, it's all a bit too much for them, and it fractures your reality as such, because it does give you more options. And you're like, surely if this was true, we'd have got taught this in school. Well, go ahead and research it. Mums, dad, middle class that are in panic now over gambling and suicides. I see what they're doing with the middle class. They're getting geared up for a mass panic to move some white paper through. Don't you worry about that. We see it before it happens. Why? Because they're repeating history. Only an idiot would repeat the same, process and expect a different result every time. That's the definition of insanity. Well, I'm telling you, man is now classed as insane in my book, because all we do is vote the blue or the red in, the Democrat or the Republic, the Conservative or the Labour, and they do the same tricks because they work for the same God. The same religions, the multiple different religions seem to have the same devil. And it's like, well, if you can have all these separate gods but one devil, there's only one good, one love, and one evil. And there is no good out there, it seems, in the corporate arena. There will never be good in a soulless, fictitious world of necromancy and psychopaths. And that's how it is. It sounds horrible, but that's who they are. Parliamentary sovereignty, don't make me laugh. You're telling me that I'm not sovereign and Kevin and Andy aren't sovereign, but Parliament are. Well, we elected Parliament and put them there, man. So if man gave power that he didn't have, then that doesn't make you can't do that. So we go back to the scriptures and Andy's comments and what you've come to see of, and it's there. It's not we're trying to get you to convert, but if you have got a birth certificate, you have been put under the assumptions and presumptions of the Roman Catholic civil law system, and it's not a good one. And it tells you, oh, you're innocent until proven guilty, don't worry, we'll look after you, we've got all the gang here. And it's not quite as it seems, and ignorance is no defense. But this deception is inexcusable. It really is crimes against man here. There's a lot of crimes going off, to be fair.
It's disgusting.
I finished, bro.
It's absolutely disgusting, the scale of it, because it's everything as well. It's not just the DWP, it's the bank, you name it. It's all there to rape you, basically, and they will at every opportunity, and they don't care. They really don't care. It's a terrible state of affairs. I say, when I first got into it, the anger, with the realisation then came to anger about, well, I've been living this all my life. Why? And now why has it only come to me now that it's all fraudulent and it's all trickery and it's all spells and words and
they've told you in the films, they've told you in books, they've told you in films, and it is out there to some extent. And others, Aleister Crowley and the Masonic intervention and the political intervention and JFK and Martin Luther King, and even Gandhi was apparently funded and put there and used as a puppet and stuff I'm seeing now, and things that you wouldn't see with sheep's eyes, and then you see them with a wolf's eye. I don't know, a sovereign eye, a hawk's eye, something other than a zombie sheep clone, and you see them with another eye. You see a different layer with everything, with all the political stories and the attacks and things, and 9/11s and Grenfells and the crash of the economy with Northern Rock and missing billions or trillions from CIA, and it's ludicrous. It really is. There's only so much we can take before we say, okay, okay, then, okay, this is enough now. Not even mentioning aliens and flat Earth and cancer. Three other massive subjects that we're well versed in, let alone law and money, and it's tremendous. It really is. So credit to everybody and to yourself. And if this can help anybody that might be having to face food banks and sanctions and stop that, then you're going to be blessed a million times over, because you're actually doing something to help man. That's for man by man, and that's what you get. That's when it works, and that's why it works, and you're having a success, because it isn't copied, it isn't stolen. It's something that has been built and created. It's your intellectual property, isn't it? So yours and Graham. Sorry, we keep forgetting that, brother. But and that's why.
Yeah, no. So great. As I say, we have spent hours and hours over this stuff. So much time and cognizing, looking at verbiage and what words to use, the meanings. So you've got to be very careful sometimes what words you use and all that, but it isn't something once you get the basics of it, it seems to flow. I know some people will struggle with stuff like that, and that's fair enough. That's why we're here, and we'll step in with those people that do have problems. If that's what's required, that's what we'll do. But as we know, the main thing is there's the info, people. Go and look at it, change it around a bit, use a bit from here, whatever you want to do, or use it as it is. That's up to you, but you can make each of these documents, even the ones we've put up, you can slightly change them with different words and stuff. They still mean the same thing, but you've made it unique. So it's your own. Then even, you might have used the basic outline of it, but just to change a few words, then you just don't get the silly questions like, oh, we see you've used an internet template letter. Because I've had that about our stuff, and I go, yeah, go and find it on the internet then.
Yeah, and we
find those on the internet.
But they send us internet generated letters that are not from a human, that are just like, about your account, or you've suffered an overpayment, or it's seldom.
That's what they use. It's all template
from a man.
I mean, even the response now to the to our initial letter is now we've had two people so far. I don't know about the third bloke yet. I don't know if he got the response, but the two letters that have been sent after letter one are identical. There's not a change. They've already got a template to respond to us, but it doesn't mean anything. That's
my point exactly.
Going, so now you're using templates to they don't even rebut. That's the thing. They're not rebutting. They can't. They just don't understand. They either completely don't understand what you told them, like we live in England, blah, blah, blah. And they just write back and go, yeah, we're registered in the UK. You go, yeah, well, jog on then. Because I don't live in the UK, nor do you. So fuck off. They don't, as I say, it's templates. I know that the letter that our friend got Thursday, and I think a few days before that, I think Mike got a similar one. I think it was Mike. But it's word for word. They're absolutely word for word. So they've now got a template response, but it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean a thing. They're not rebutting. They're not supplying what you've asked for. They're just saying, well, we're allowed to do this because the Maximus, the DWP have employed us. That's basically what they're saying. You go, well, off you go. See you later. So, yeah, mate, as I say, it's all there. It's working. We know it's working. You've seen it work. Your first confirmation is obviously our friends. But, there's other people in the process. They're all getting the same stuff, and it's all still ending up in the same place, which is can't come near you, no assessment, support group, little bit of extra, off you go. You won't hear from us again. Thank you very much. That's where it's ending up.
It's the law. The law has governable parameters, so it can only change. There's no risk about us talking about this on YouTube because the law cannot be changed instantly overnight. We've seen that. We've asked for it as man, and they've said, "Oh no, we can't possibly do that. It involves legislation changes of which it'll, affect everything." So in 20 years, we can do it then. And it's like, what? You know, I'll reference the clean up for the environment. I was about 12, and I remember somebody, probably John Major or not Egwina Courage, she was involved in the news then, but we'll say John Major, and I was remembering him saying something about the environmental CFC chlorofluoro carbon gases, and he said it'll be about 2015 that we'll aim to have these targets dropped. And that was like 1986, little teenage boy going, what? It takes that long to sort stuff out? Really? We live in a place that I thought, this is bad. So we know that they can't change the law overnight, but when it involves commerce and stockholders and greed and resources, they'll probably change it overnight. I hear what you're saying, YouTube, without even looking at the screen, but you know, there's law and there's maxims that govern law, and there's the scriptures and there's the creator, and this is where these are fixed, immovable points in our references to our strengths and rights, and we have parameters of which cannot be they are fixed and they cannot be moved, because we know, you know, we shall not be moved. It comes from a saying, you know, and you know, we won't be moved, because you have to, they don't take away our rights, they trick us into submitting them. We submit them or we waive our rights, and we never have them taken from us. We have them deceived, and that's the trickery of, again, the scriptures. In the end times, man will be deceived, and that's how we'll be imprisoned, you know, for civil issues over money, when you shouldn't really be there in the first place. And there is no money, and there is only debt, and we are the principal and the surety. And if we had the cognition, we would discharge it and avoid the liability, therefore the custodial sentence and salvage of the court and the admiralty and the banker, and going to the, it's just insane, Kev. It really is insane, brother. Wow.
You know, it's massive, mate. And I say it's a lot to take in, and you realise all what's going on. You start seeing the machinations of what's truly going on. It is just frightening, absolutely frightening. And I'm not sure if we've got enough time left, you know. Really, I hope we have.
Don't speak like that. I will slap you. I will slap you.
I'll drive up now. No, you know, yes. You know, that's what concerns me. Are we going to get enough of us turning it round in time? That's the reality of it. You know, you're talking about Agenda 2030. We've got 12 years. That's not long.
I know, but but we don't mess around.
It flies by. It's words. All that time you was at school, you used to look at the clock, and then about an hour later, you think it was, you'd look back at the clock and 3 minutes had passed. Well, let me tell you, as you get older, that luxury goes. Time flies. I think myself, sure, it was February last week, and we're in November. Well, it's just crazy. It's just flying by. I hope we get this together, and you know, I hate to think what it'll be like for my grandchildren, which I have, by the way. That's what concerns me. You know, my kids. Well, my daughter's just in her 30s. My son's 20. He was 27 this year. You know, I've got two granddaughters. Harley's 3, 4 this year. Ria's, she'll be a year old. And what's it going to be like for them if they don't either get taught what this is all about, who they are? What are they going to look forward to? I just don't. I can't exactly. So that's really where I've started to fight it all. Is for the future. It is for the. I don't want it to sound corny, but it is for the future generations. That's to try and, you know, help them avoid all this. Because I'm not going to be here that much longer. That's a fact. You know, I don't know. What have I got? Another 20, 30 years if I'm lucky. If I'm lucky, you know, stuff's got to happen. You just, you know, the trouble is a lot of people, as soon as you start speaking to them, you might as well be speaking Dutch. They just, you know, or some of them won't grasp it. They don't want to. It's such a shock to their reality of what they believe the world's about. And you come along and say, well, you know, I'll prove all this. Look at all this. It's all fraud. It's all this, all that. They're just like, don't be so stupid. You know, you couldn't speak to a room full of people you know, say 100 people, 99 of them would probably get up halfway through and walk out. That's the problem. It is an individual. It's almost a one-on-one process. You can get one person getting a spark and starting to think about what's going on and starting to have a look. But to try and do it to lots of people, you'd have empty halls because they just walk out halfway through, just don't get it. That's what's scary. That's what's scary, you know. But there you go. There we have it. I was going to say something else about letters and stuff, but it's completely slipped my mind. So I'll have to, if it comes back to me, I'll stick it on the thread because I've rabbited on.
That's all right. It's the effect of hanging around with me.
I'm infected.
Wow.
But yeah, I haven't got anything to write tonight, thank God. Yeah, I think I finished that at 1:45 this morning. I finished when we finished on the Hangouts. I had to start writing letters for somebody that I promised her it would be in her inbox by the morning. So I kept my promise. So that was the little interview under caution letter, which is I really enjoyed writing that. Oh, you want to interview me under caution, do you? Okay, let's see your warrant, let's see your oath of office, let's see your foreign agent registration, etc., 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 and then I'll more than happily come down to you and have a chat with you. So yeah, can't wait to see what the response is on that one.
No, right, interesting to say the least.
Just make me laugh, mate. Some nobody writing to you saying, I'm going to interview you under caution. Okay, well, if you got the power to give me a caution in the first place, actually, no, right, jog on.
Authority, jurisdiction.
Cheek of these people, mate. I can't believe the cheek of them. I have authority over you. Okay, prove it. I'm not taking your word for it. Absolutely mad, Dave.
Yes, it is indeed. I'm just opened up. I don't mean to be rude because we're short on time. I've opened up the email from Brother Flatboy, and yeah, I'm just looking at the email now, and yeah, I'm just listening to you as well. Sorry, sidetracking.
No,
so
that's all right. Do I need to put anything in there, input, or have you got it covered?
No, I'll have it covered. We'll get this off, fire this back to him before 12 o'clock. So, yeah, we just give peace and love to everybody. Let's go back to the chat room, and I've just had a quick skim of the comments there and what folk are saying. There's a lot in there, 47 still. So, DWP, ESA, work-based capability assessment is going to be a hot potato politically and in our communities, and it's going to hit a lot of areas. It's going to hit the ones that are in benefits and struggling families, you know, children, sons and daughters, mums and dads, and yeah, food banks, the strain of that. Communities are already under pressure. The banks are taking money and sending it to offshore tax havens. The Crown and everybody's usurping us,
like the
and
the
monarchy tax is rife. So I dread to think what's happening with the inflation and stuff. So, you know, it's not good, and we need to do this now. We need to give man options before the brown stuff hits the fan. We need to have the options lined up and the knowledge out there, so we don't all go down that pitchfork and burning route again. Oh wow, please, yeah.
No, we're beyond that.
Or fear, or just the fear. Lose the fear. If the TV comes on and starts trying to scare you, at least they know it's not true. You're not talking, you know, it's a game, it's a panto, it's an act.
As I say, I can't remember the last time I watched any mainstream news or read a newspaper or anything. I just don't. It's so pointless. It's absolutely pointless. You just, you know, if you don't read a newspaper, or is it if you don't read a newspaper, watch the news, or if you do read a newspaper and watch the news, you're misinformed. And then if you don't, you're uninformed. Yeah,
this is it, brother. But we've got the agents on lockdown, so to speak, and we've got man with his correct capacity. Red Dwarf, everybody's dead, Dave. Well, no, they're not. They're not. Everybody is dead. Is classed as being dead. You are all alive, and this is it. We're sorting this out, and it's nice to put some of the old Freeman folklore fables to bed once and for all, and to see a result, and to know, you can go on about constitutional and Magna Carta and Republic and certain things, and it comes down to a few basic essentials, of which Andy has ironed out quite nicely, and you have explained where the strength has come from for the turnaround in your I don't know, your help and representation in that legal, I don't know, civil legal issue that you had going on there with it gets quite scary, like you say. There are some out there that are fear and intimidation, money, lives, shortfall. Children, sons and daughters being left without is not an option, really. Without prescriptions is bad enough. Without medication, without money, and without provisions as such, when we are in this great age of technology and apps and Wi-Fi and understanding, then it shouldn't take so long to do what is being purported to be doing. Universal credit, you'd think that would be the ideal way. Yeah, there should be a universal credit, and man should get a set amount no matter what. You just go there and they said, you know what, for 6 months we're going to pay you this, give us a bank account, see you in 6 months, goodbye, done. That's it. Why all this crap? Well, why? Call me silly, but call me old-fashioned. That's how a universal credit should work. That's universal for all, whether you're a millionaire or whether you're just Andy, Dave, Kev, or a viewer here, subscriber on the channel. You'd get that set amount for 6 months, and after that you'd be reviewed again and say, right, how's it going, what's happening, do you need some more help? And it wouldn't be, have you been looking, how long have you spent, have you got your book? Oh, that you haven't. He hasn't got his book. June, he hasn't got his book. Oh Lord, please, we're not children.
No.
Go on.
25 years for not having your book.
I'm just going back to the years of UB40. Sorry, that was a UB40 moment. For those that aren't old enough, we had to take a book, and so nowadays they still take books, I know, but yeah, it was funny. It was so funny.
I am the 1 in 10.
Thank you, Kev. You are a legend, and you and Andy. Thank you very much to both of you. Lots of love, and anything we need to. Further update, we'll put on the forum on the .com and spowspro.com. We are looking to increase, the members in the community there. You are welcome to reside on Facebook, and that's all very well and good, but we don't release everything through Facebook because we've been burnt too many times, and it's unconscionable, it's deceptive, and it has a lot of negativity around it. So we will give what we can via YouTube and Facebook for free, but with regards to the other documentation, intellectual property, we are going to try and lead the way on that, some front, and protect it in our own domain, in effectively what will be transformed into the the express private trust of SPLs, and going forward we're going to look and develop that and grow on it, and it will contain intellectual property, intrinsic value will be in there, non-intrinsic value. It will have all kinds of assets assigned to the trust. The .com is one, the trust fund is another, the courses and the education is another one. The other two things I wanted to end with is we have set up two other trusts. STAB, which was Sovereigns Take Authority Back, which will be managed through the .com as well, through a forum which relates to the stabbings and the horrendous state of security, we'll call it, within our nation at the minute. This is the middle class scaremongering that I mentioned before. They will be looking at, and we will look at this with regards to the 10 years and the Mayor of London. And then we've also launched another trust called Donate, Don't Detonate, which is to help the homeless in some way. And the idea is you would donate your time, love, compassion, and the money that you would have spent on fireworks and give it to the homeless. Another trust fund would set up, and then would designate the .com we have care in for the homeless.co.uk, I think it is. Greg's had given us that park's website, and we'd put trustees in there all around the landmass. That part at the end of the year on November the 5th next year would be divvied up, and then they'd go out and distribute that, and we'd have to be careful. So it's not that straightforward, but that's the idea.
Yeah, that's the idea. But can I just say, I'd like to say, everybody listening in, thanks ever so much. Really appreciate it. Quite remarkable how many of you get on here. I really do appreciate it. I know I'm a bit new to the broadcasting side, but absolutely love your interaction, everything. Really appreciate you being here. What else can I say? The other thing I'd like to say is, I know there's a few people a bit confused, and I've had a few comments recently in the private, to be honest. There's nothing that's been put out there about, people making sort of comments about the 12 quid fee on the SPL site. I just want to be clear. Everything we do, everything we produce, everything that goes on in there, it's all pro bono. None of us are asking for or expect anything for that. And if you can afford it, get yourself over there. It's 12 quid. Basically, it's there for us to use for members of the trust should they need it. Like, we've facilitated private doctor and that recently as just one example.
Yeah, we have.
That's what it gets used for. None of us are making any money. This is not about money for any of us. It's not about recognition. It's about helping people right these wrongs and stop this fraud going on. So please don't think any of that money over there, we're all sitting back and we're laughing and we're having the right laugh. We're out every weekend, bang on it, because we got so much money. That's not what's happening, people. So please, if you can get over there where the docks are, where you can pick up a whole different level of knowledge and see how people are putting this together, please do. I'm not asking you to run over there and throw your 12 quids in. I'm saying it is so worthwhile for you, and you never know. You might be one of those people that benefits from all those 12 quids that go in. But everything goes back into the trust. None of us are earning a penny. None of us are getting paid. None of us want to be paid. It's never been our objective. So everything's pro bono, and we do it for the love for the people to stop this going on. So, just to say to a few people, it's nothing to do with money. I had a comment the other night. It turns out I'd misunderstood this guy. I found something out tonight. But it was just a comment. As soon as it was like, well, if you go over there, all the documents, it involves money, does it? Well, yeah, but you don't understand. We're not getting it. It's 12 quid, 25 pence a week. 25 pence a week. Come on. So anyway,
you get that. It's all right. There is free elements out there where man can learn for free, and I've been researching for a good 10 to 15 years now, and none of this came out at all. And the key to what we was looking for, we've already given away for free. You don't need to join the .com to get redemption or to become unbonded. No. We've already made sure with clean hands under in the equitable realm, under the contract and the covenant that we have with the Creator and the One, that we've given that away already for free out there through the Facebook, the YouTube. Yeah. And what we're saying now is there's an online private digital university that requires some donations, and there's a trust concept there that trust is the only real currency that man has now, and that's all man ever really has had. So once we reinstill that and you do trust us, we don't really the shills and the negative comments are to be expected. We can't enlighten everybody, but we live currently in a fiscal fractal reserve banking federal banknote, deceptive, discharge and endorsement system here with the 1882 bills of exchange at the root of it all. So we recognize that, and whilst we are all considered international corporate bankers because we use federal banknotes every day and we're at war and stuff, we can't fix this overnight. So we have to use the system that is there. And if you can trust us, which is what, again, is the technology we're bringing to the realm, and this guy that made that negative comment is obviously not in the trusting realm or has been burnt before, but there are ones out there that do trust us. And I've got a document here that's got, this is a trust document for the account, and there was a transfer done of an amazing amount of about 1,800, a donation, a gift to our trust from one guy. Somebody else donated 300 and something. And like you said, we did pay for private doctor in an emergency situation for somebody, initially a YouTube viewer, but then a member to our trust. So we do publicly disclose all accounts, and all funds are accounted for and managed. Donations and etc. are managed in-house by me at the moment, but it is getting set up to be, executed, and property accounts designated, specified, the 3 certainties, trust property, transfer, declaration of trust, all of that's in-house, ready to go, and there's nothing to worry about. But those that do scoff and cough, there will be scoffers in the last days, and I'm not saying these are the last days, but you said you've expressed it, your concern. I've expressed my concern. We see Mr. Menza getting such worse state since the days of Thatcher, the war, the famine, the earthquakes, everything. We haven't touched upon half of what we could have, and we have got the issue and the burden of, and it is a burden, there's weight on the shoulders of all of us, and we feel the expectations, we feel the responsibility, and it isn't a burden as such, but it is a burden, and we need to share it, and we need to get you lot with us, not on board our ship, but are back on dry land and in our community and staying on here. And if you want to go out to the boat world and into the land of the sea, well, you want to take a rope with you and make sure you can get back to us. That's all we're saying. And we will help. Like, we have helped with the doctors, and we went to Older Hay and we raised funds there, and the funds that we get, we would colloidal silver, and then the brand awareness with hoodies and t-shirts. So if you donate, rather than just donating and putting money into a bank account and it being risky, if you donate, we'll send you a free t-shirt or hoodie or some water, which then gives you something back for your donation. And no, it's not a sale, it's nothing like that, it cannot be misconstrued as such. It's a complimentary gift for you taking the time out to recognise the need for. And we run a donate campaign, and we manage that quite well. We run quite a lot going off and in a private capacity. So it's a different way of interacting. It's an honourable way, it's a justified way, and somebody needs to trust somebody at some point. Otherwise, what have we got left?
So you've got to make that step at some point. You can't not forever. You can't not trust anybody forever.
But look at the public, the ones in the public, in the houses of God. Everybody's getting accused of touching little boys and little girls, and the crap that happened with Jimmy Savile, Michael Barrymore, all the public figures that have come out, what Brian Harvey has said, who Brian Harvey has named, everything that's coming out, the Disney Club, what's happened with the Pepsi generation. Oh, I've named a corporation, liability. Whoop whoop. Okay, well, you killed Michael Jackson and you messed up Britney Spears, Pepsi generation. This is what we're saying. It eats you up, it destroys you, it throws you to one side. It lets OJ Simpson hire Johnny Cochran and get off with whatever. How did he get off? We know how he got off now. You can see the technology's there. The law is an ass, and it makes a mockery of you and I every day. No more shall it continue. Credit to you for what you've done, and respect to us for the work that we do. It's worth thousands of pounds. That document there that's been uploaded twice now as a Word document and a PDF, and has been put on a video, could be sold for 50 quid donation, but we give it for free, and it's secured on the .com, copyrighted and protected under intellectual trademark protection. So credits have been given, and we've got a hard job, brother. We really have, and it's a fine balance.
Is it Greg that helps? Is it Greg that does the computer stuff with you, internet and all that? A big shout out to him. He's excellent in the background, mate. Hopefully meet him one day. But no, big shout out to you, Greg. You're a star, mate, keeping it all running. Thanks ever so much.
He is, he's a little star. Yeah, we're done, brother. All
right, mate. Well, look, you're absolutely fantastic. So thanks everybody that's listening. Really wonderful. Really appreciate you being here. Hope we've made some sense. If you need any help, you know where to contact us. And we'll do what we can. Please feel free. But thank you very much for the time you spent and then listening to us drone on. And much Peace and love to you all. Much love to you. Big, huge respect to all the members and anybody who are not members. Doesn't matter. Respect to you all.
Yes, we're returning back to love and trust and unity. Peace, love and unity was the Ravers message back in the 90s from Dreamscape, Fantasia, Milton Keynes, Sanctuary, Birmingham, Whistle Posse Crew. Now it's peace, love and unity, but equity with peace, love and equity in common unity is the new Ravers message that we've got coming out. Stab, sovereigns take authority back, donate, don't detonate. These are all money, homelessness and future issues that are only going to get worse. And homeless men dying outside the houses of Parliament, and they're the electorate, corporate, public body corporate that are there to regulate and help this kind of thing not happen. There's clearly failings everywhere. There's apologies for trusts and stuff, failings and deaths, and it's not acceptable. Grenfell in itself, I don't want to keep mentioning it, but it's a horrific it's burnt in my mind. It should never have, the amount of health and safety that man has to go through to be self-employed and to get in the trade and repair on a contract for a listed corporate company, but yet the government who do all this day in and day out allowed these kind of atrocities to happen. It's just clearly unexcusable. And to then go around and give it public law and say, oh yes, well, it was only corporate manslaughter, it wasn't any murder by any, and this kind of, we don't even have the ability. Northern Rock crashing the economy, who went to prison, who paid for that debt to society? Not many, if anything. Taxpayer bailing out because we're the old gullible ones. The public general, it's a joke, and it needs to stop. This country has had blood spilled for its integrity and its honour and its language and babble and its bankers of London. And why was it kept then? I don't think it was worthy of keeping. If all them lives have been lost and that blood has been spilled, we need to honour that blood, don't we? And we need to recognise they died to keep our last remaining rights. And if we have to go into battles, which Kevin does and I do and Andy does and the admins do and these souls do, we'll do that. But we need to recognise there's an ongoing war, and we need to work out what our position is in that holy biblical war. It's not, and we didn't make it. We're sorry to bring this to you. We didn't start the fire, and it has been burning since the earth's been turning. Come on. Got one in. Come on.
Andy, he beat you, mate. He beat you. You had a better one in there.
She's asleep. She's asleep. Shh, don't wake him. Don't wake him. It's like, do you remember Trapdoor? Do you remember that program, Trapdoor? Bird, feed me now. That's what it's like if you wake him up. And Boney, remember Boney? Oh no, Boney. Excellent. Yeah, I'm Boney and Andy's that big guy, and you're Bert. Shh.
Right, I'm gonna get off then.
Let's go. Thank you, Kev. Let's go. Peace and love. Ciao now. Yeah. Let's go.
Love everybody. Thanks very much, Dave. Speak to you later, brother. Peace and love, everybody. Love you very much. Cheers for listening. Ciao. Good night.
See you later. Bye bye. Thank you.
See you, mate.